And good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Fox Sports Net presentation of the Longhorn 500. We're in Fort Worth, Texas on a gorgeous evening. Jack Root alongside, along with Ari Lyndike, Vince Welsh, and Calvin Fish will cover the pit area for us tonight as we prepare to go racing. The Kelly Racing Team, Jack, right up front. It'll be fun to watch those two guys going to work early.
One of the co-owners of that is 81-year-old Jim Kelly, and he's going to be leaving in several weeks and going to well, Belarus and some of the area there, flying his own Challenger aircraft to teach surgeons how to do transplants. So he's got quite a trip ahead of him, and he's a corporate pilot.
Many, many stories will play out here tonight. So far, we've had 3 different winners, 3 different pole winners, and the weather conditions just about ideal tonight. Temperature 83 degrees, the humidity at 65%. We had overcast skies most of the day, mostly cloudy right now, but some sunshine peeking through. And Ari, you talked about this in the pre-race show a little bit about drafting here tonight, and it'll be fun to watch these guys on these banks.
Well, for sure, and for a night race, we're actually starting pretty early, 6:30, but you know, the shade is covering turns 4 and turns 1 in the front straightaway. So the expectation for the handling of the car from the crews is still going to be what they thought it would be for a night race.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go finish your thought.
Drafting is going to be a key tonight. I think you have to be able to run really close behind another guy going into the turn and being able to maintain the throttle, which would hopefully be full throttle because you have to get a run on him coming off the corner, and a lot of drafting is going to happen tonight. And you pick up 6 to 7, 8 miles an hour in the draft, and you could pick up a draft from 2 cars, and I think a lot of guys are going to hit the rev limiter tonight.
All right, now for the famous command to start your engines, let's go to John Cronin, the Texas Attorney General.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
14 rows of drivers preparing to go to work here tonight. The Longhorn 500K presented by MCI WorldCom. Let's meet the drivers.
The front row, all Kelly Racing. Ask Tom Kelly, the car owner, about his drivers. He'll say they're like cups of coffee. Sharp, definitely espresso and caffeinated. Dismore, mellow roasted and decaffeinated.
Row 2, Dice Carlson with his best qualifying performance, still covering his head with a Pacers hat, a true fan. And Greg Ray, who for the first time this year is not starting from the front row.
The third row finds Eddie Cheever, who likes to study military strategy. Well, hey, Sam Schmidt takes over the lead seat at your old team, Treadway.
I know, and what a seat he has. Great car. Row 4, Jeff Ward, the IRL points leader, still looking for first win. Will it be tonight? And Scott Goodyear, a stunned Scott Goodyear, the man second in points.
Come on, smile, Scott. The fifth row finds Kenny Brack and Ronnie John Cox, both of them experiencing the American dream. Brack having won his dream, the Indy 500, John Cox starting his first IRL race.
Row 6, Billy Boat, winner last year here, always strong on the 1.5-mile ovals. And Robbie Unser, last year's Indy 500 Rookie of the Year. Does he look like his dad, Bobby, or what?
Row 7 finds the attorney and the college grad student. Having passed the bar, John Hollingsworth can practice law in Texas. Calkins just hopes to pass his last final exam.
Row 8, Davey Hamilton, second in points in 97, second in points in 98, so far having a rough year. And Stephen Gregoire looking for a green flag after failing to qualify at Indy this year.
The ninth row finds Ari Lyndike's biggest fan, Steve Knapp, right there with the autograph of Ari on his fire suit. And another racing Unser. Johnny makes his second start of 99.
Row 10, Jacques Lazier, Buddy Lazier's brother in his first IRL start, and Eliseo Salazar. Let's get this video shoot over with, is what they're thinking.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting row 11.
Row 12, Raul Boisel in the Sol Riley and Scott chassis, and Buddy Lazier, who in qualifying had an engine problem.
Now, they may not be smiling now, but watch for Lazier and Boisel to go to the front. That'll put a smile on your face. Row 13. Hey, Big Daddy's here. Little Donnie Beechler driving for Cahill Racing. Scott Harrington was scheduled to go to post in 26th spot, but he had problems in practice.
Scott Scott Harrington will not start in the race tonight. He made contact with the wall on Friday during the practice session. Scott says a wheel broke free when he went through turn 2. He has a broken leg. Vince Welch caught up with Scott.
Scott, update us on how you're feeling and what's ahead for you.
Well, you know, we've broke a bone in my left leg, did some damage to my left knee. I'm not sure if anything's broken or not. Did some damage to my right foot. So get back to Indianapolis and go see the guys there that kind of specialize in this type of stuff and see what they say, and hopefully get back on the road to recovery and hopefully get things fixed well enough to be in the car at Pikes Peak.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you at Pikes Peak, and hopefully the Certainteed car will be moving towards the front.
All right, we will have 12 in-car cameras for your enjoyment tonight. First off, Eliseo Salazar, the car number 6. He will be back starting in 20th position tonight in that green machine.
Maxmill Dick Simon Racing is back here in the Pep Boys Indy Racing League. Car number 7 for Stefan Gregoire, and he's running what we call that narrow track.
And Buzz Calkins in car 12, 14th on the starting grid. Bradley Food Mart's back at work tonight. We'll watch Buzz Calkins battle his way.
We'll ride on board tonight with a man that has a career best qualifying effort in 3rd, Tice Carlson, and he'll be driving the Blueprint Imke car.
Tice Carlson really a man on a mission these days. It'll be fun to watch him run. Steve Knapp, the 35 car, ISM Racing. He starts 17th on the grid this evening.
Lycos in the PCSave.com car for Dallas, Texas's own John Hollinsworth. His dad will be coming to the race as well tonight.
And number 4 with a 4th place finish 1 year ago, starting in the 4th row. Scott Goodyear starts 8th position.
Now, Kenny Brack, who we told you is the defending Pep Boys Indy Racing League champion and Indy 500 champ, the power team, you'll ride on board with them this evening.
What a great view coming through turn 2, and also Mark Dismore, the pole winner. Look at the view he has coming up tonight, starting number 1.
And Sam Schmidt will also be carrying one of our onboard cameras, and that will be the number 99, the Sprint PCS cars. We look at Buddy Lazier. Now, Lazier will be wheeling the Coors Light Delta Faucet Special, and he starts from the 24th position.
Buddy Lazier and the rest of the field moving now through turn 3 as we prepare to go racing. And on board now is Scott Sharp. We will have green flag racing coming up shortly. Here's the field. And Jeff Ward, you're looking at him at the bottom of your screen, the Yahoo machine, and he has been awfully tough, a 2nd place finish in Indianapolis.
Currently leading the Pep Boys Indy Racing League standings, and he has yet to win a career victory.
And, of course, the Scott Goodyear has 1 victory to his name so far this year. The field pulling away out of turn 4. The honorary starter tonight, John Cronin, the Texas Attorney General, with a green flag. And we go racing. The Longhorn 500 underway. Dismore sets the pace. First lap. Dismore stretches out his lead as he jumps in, Ari.
I think it's Scott Goodyear in the lead right now. Scott Sharp, I'm sorry, took the lead. Actually jumped the start a little bit over his teammate Mark Dismore, and I'm sure Mark wasn't too pleased about that. But hey, since he's a teammate, he's not going to really complain about it. But if it would have been somebody else, he would have.
Here's the look. There was the look when you're leading in the early going in the Longhorn 500. But the man that deserves the call is there's your 1-2 combination. See the yellow and red car? That is Greg Ray, and on the brake he turned the wick up, and he is closing in for that NASCAR-style draft by Mark Dismore.
Jeff Ward has also moved up into 5th position from his starting position, and Jeff is always an outstanding starter.
Mark Dismore, and there's the challenger, Greg Ray.
Greg Ray says that the way to initiate a pass here is to literally tuck the nose cone of your car up underneath the rear gearbox. Now, that will be the signal for us to see if Ray's going to try and make that pass on Dismore.
Well, you have to be really close because there's not a lot of difference in speed. Like these front runners, they're all probably flat out right now. And flat out is flat out for everybody, so it's really difficult to pass. And as you can see, we've got a group of cars, 5 cars in front.
3 laps now completed, and Jeff Ward in that Yahoo purple and white yellow car starting to climb his way through some traffic.
Yeah, Ward's moving up close to the 4 guys in front, and they're already drafting pretty good right now. And as you can see, the whole field is still pretty close after several laps.
You know, the drivers tell me that they want to free the car up. We've talked about it in qualifying. We talked about it throughout the course of the race. What does that mean? Well, at Indianapolis, Ari, the difference between the ride height, between the ground and the side pod and the underwing that creates the downforce, you'd have to stuff about 5 credit cards to fill that area. Here, take those credit cards, put them in a fat wallet with pictures of your family, and you can actually slide that wallet underneath. You don't want as much downforce here.
That's right. At Indianapolis, to free the car up, you take out wing. But at these tracks, the wings are set. The IRL has set them at 6 degrees with a 1-inch quicker. You can't do anything with the wings, so you can't free it up with that. So you start raising the ride height of the car.
Lead pack of 5 cars now.
There's Ward.
Yes, look at Ward looking to the outside now, trying to make a move. And Greg Ray trying to go into second, but Dismore closes the door.
And Ward is getting a run on Tyce Carlson, going into 3.
There he is, moving on the inside. A nice move, looking out the back of Dismore now. Greg Ray. That's the yellow car trailing from behind. Now in 4th place is Jeff Ward.
Cheever has just moved past Tyce Carlson.
The Pennzoil car. Scott Goodyear.
And he's looking in his mirror, and that's kind of what he sees. That's Kenny Breck in the Power Team car. This is the battle for 5th position. Tyce Carlson is being posted in the 5th spot. He's in that white, red, and purple car. That purple and yellow car, that is Billy Bogey in 6th. And here comes Goodyear on the inside of Sam Schmidt. Goodyear in the yellow car, Schmidt in that black and white 99. Everybody's dicing back and forth, Ari. It looks almost like a sparring match.
Basically, we've got 12 guys in the lead group. They're not very, very close, but they are close.
Back up front, here's your race leaders. And Scott Sharp is first, followed closely by his teammate Mark Dismore. And on the outside, it's Jeff Ward thinking about making a pass. They're even, running 2 abreast now.
Jeff Ward is pretty high coming off 2 and going to tuck right in behind Greg Ray again.
Pennzoil telemetry, the speed 213 miles an hour for the Delphi machine.
As we can see, he's actually getting out of the throttle. Right here, you can see he's getting out, and now he's back to full throttle again.
And don't forget, we've
dropped the revs from 10,300 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to 10,000. So you'll see it edge close, maybe 9,600, 9,800, but you don't want to get to 10 because then the IRL rev limiter kicks in, and that's disaster.
Jeff Ward running low, the Yahoo machine there, trying to get around Greg Ray. 12 seconds now covering the whole field. Some very competitive racing early on as we complete the 11th lap.
Hey, fellas, start to watch the Infinity with Eddie Cheever. Cheever in the 51, the Children's Beverage Group Special. He's running that Infinity engine that he had in the lead at the Indianapolis 500 at about the 300-mile mark. How long is this race just tonight? About 300 miles. He's currently being shown in that 5th spot. There he is, that blue, red, and yellow stripe, number 51.
Started 5th, currently running in 5th place, Eddie Cheever.
What's really good about the guys right out there right now, nobody's doing any foolish things. Everybody's kind of lining up behind each other. Because if you dare to go and try to make the pass, the guy behind you can pick up the drag off of the 2 cars and go right by you.
Tyce Carlson challenging Cheever now for 5th position.
You know, you talk about this racetrack, 1.5 miles, 24-degree bank, but we're watching right now this battle for 5th. Tyce Carlson on the inside, Cheever on the outside, directly behind Cheever in that purple and yellow car, so close as they are. That's what this kind of racing's all about. You flat-footed, and you've got to be brave. Greg Ray says it's like being a gladiator in the 21st century.
We're going to go 208 laps today, 195 left to go. We're thankful you're with us here tonight for some great racing. Scott Sharp is your leader. He has led from the start.
I think a big thing tonight is going to be pit stops are going to be really crucial. Track position is almost everything right now because you can't. A guy running in 10th right now is not just going to go up to 1st that easy.
I tell you what, watch the Yahoo machine, the purple and white car. He's trying to hound Greg Ray in that yellow number 2 with the red side panels, the Menard Glidden machine. But he can't do too much, Ari, because if he has a miscue, Tyce Carlson will go downstairs and get that position.
And Tyce in the beginning dropped back a little bit, but come back strong.
We're watching Jeff Ward there running a pretty high line there, Ari. I was kind of surprised he's getting up that high.
And you can do that around this track. This is pretty much a 2-groove racetrack.
Got some smoke coming from the 30 car. We're watching the pits now as they go to work right now. racing back to the front of the pack.
Tough break for Jimmy Kite. He decided he was going to come here with Dennis McCormick, and that car, one of the great things about young Kite out of Georgia is he proposed to his fiancée on Carburation Day at Indianapolis in front of 100,000 people.
All right, Scott Sharp is your race leader as they come to the start, and 16 laps completed here on Fox Sports Net. We'll be right back.
Well, let's see whether Sharp can turn that to any further advantage. Let's rejoin our American colleagues.
Exciting racing tonight, the Longhorn 500, the Indy Racing League, and we're watching a serious battle for second place right now. That's Greg Ray and the Yellow Machine Team at R trying to get by on the
inside of Mark Dismore, and there's the battle we're watching. The race leader right now is Scott Sharp.
This is the battle you're watching now for second
place. We're on board with
Dismore.
One of the concerns that a lot of the teams, and precisely the Menard team, had about tonight is what gear would be necessary to stay off of the limiter. You can hear them. They're on the limiter right there. Of course, what we're listening to is that of Mark Dismore. But now some of the teams are saying that they'll carry as many as 4 top gears trying to find and compensate for the draft.
Indy 500 champion Kenny Breck had to make a pit stop. Vince Welsh has an update.
Kenny Breck came in. He was having a right rear problem. His right rear tire is blistering, and they had to come in and make the change. A.J. Foyt's other car, Billy Boat, was also having a vibration and a right rear problem, so they came in and made a change there as well. So keep an eye on the Goodyear tires. They've already had a problem in the A.J. Foyt pit.
Now Kenny Breck and Billy Boat both have a battle for themselves because they've got to get out of a lap. They are a lap down. They've got to work their way to the front area and then hope that a caution comes out. They fit it out of sequence, so that would benefit them.
That's right, and I hope that more of those tire problems, because around here last year the tires had major problems in the second Texas race where the tires were blowing up.
The yellow comes out on lap 1 with 183 laps to go. Yellow on the race course. Scott Sharp is the race leader. Dismore is second, and Greg Ray is third as the yellow comes out at the Longhorn 500. And the reason for the yellow at track inspection, one of the observers saw something on the track that they didn't like. That's the reason for the yellow. We'll check things out for you here.
You know who came really close and just breathed a giant sigh of relief? The Spinal Conquest Gallus Racing Team for Davey Hamilton. Hamilton was about to be overtaken and put 1 lap down. Yellow comes out, and great sportsmanship by Scott Sharp. Backed off the throttle and let Hamilton cross the line first.
Well, after a disappointing Indy 500, this man is your race leader, Scott Sharp, with 26 laps in the Longhorn 500. More action coming up next.
Well, our first caution then, with 26 laps gone and a track inspection taking place. And of course, one of the things we saw there, Sam, was Kenny Breck, last year's champion, coming in and trying to find a reason to get that tyre changed. Obviously some heavy loading on that. What do you think's perhaps going through his mind now he's a lap down?
It's a disastrous way to start such a long race. To run into problems so early in a race when you know how long you got to go is a complete nightmare. Basically, it's so frustrating, and all that hard work within only a few minutes has almost gone down the drain. But having said that, it is a long race, and now he's got a challenge ahead of him. Maybe he can get back to the front. We'll wait and see.
Rob, why is it so important to keep an oval track clean? We see this track inspection going on now. Why is that so vital?
Yeah, they can't take the risk because you don't know what sort of... It's not like coming out of Druids or something at 70 miles an hour and seeing something. You're coming around the corner at 220 miles an hour, and if there's anything on the track, it could just blow a tyre out like that, and you have a real accident. So they just have a policy of any question, take no risk and do it. Now, this has worked out well for Kenny in A.J. Foyt's home state. He drives through A.J., and the track marshal who saw it, probably A.J. will be very pleased with him, I would imagine.
Yeah, we saw that because, of course, incidentally, in case you're wondering, we're not across. It's well, in fact, we can go back to live pictures very shortly, but Rob, you mentioned about the tyre load there as well, and we saw Kenny change that tyre. What's all that about?
Well, that is this high load thing, this 24 degrees, I think is probably a little bit too steep for these single-seaters. I think they probably want to head away from them a bit because that's an example of it. And if you get a tyre that goes wrong around there, the accident could be huge. The steeper the banking, the more the load. and the more the load, the more potential of something to go wrong. It's all right in a NASCAR.
Well, we saw all that, of course, with the problems that they've had. Obviously, lots of them taking advantage of the tyre stop. Let's now go back to America.
We're back at the Longhorn 500 and problems for Buddy Lazier. He got sideways coming out of the pits in turn 1.
The radio transmission from Lazier to his crew was the fact that he got into the back end of Robbie, and that could only be either Robbie Unser or Robbie McGee. A tough break for Lazier as all of the cars on the lead lap came down for service, even though we're a little early at lap 28.
Lazier was running in 10th position. He had climbed himself nicely through the field as the yellow's out. Now let's watch the pit stop as they go to work right here. Jack, at the top is your race leader. In the middle is Dismore, who's in 2nd, and Greg Ray in 3rd.
Ari, everybody thinks that at this point in time a driver gets to rest, but he's pretty busy while his crew does this choreographed ballet.
Oh, he has to be really careful. He has to keep the engine running, keep his eye on the crew, make sure that when they finish he can go. Although they give him the signal, he still has to look out himself.
Now, Greg Ray looked to me like he might have been just a little slow coming back up to speed. That could signal to me that maybe he's in a different gear selection. Here's Buddy Lazier going around under caution right into the back end of Robbie Unser, so we've discerned which Unser it was.
And that really tells you that you always have to pay attention, even under a slow pace behind the pace car yellow. A lot of times you'll see guys run into and over each other during the yellow because it kind of, you know, you hear the harmonica effect.
Yeah. So here is your new leader, and it looks like
That's
it
right.
would be Steve Knapp in the ISM Delco Remy machine.
But look at Greg Ray in 11th. Greg Ray lost out to Schmidt, Dismore, Ward, Cheever, Goodyear, Carlson, and Sharp in the pits.
All right, we're under yellow at the Longhorn 500 after 30 laps, and we'll be back with more wheel-to-wheel battle. Hope you'll stay with us.
Well, while our American colleagues take a break, it gives us an opportunity to just review what's been going on. It seemed all quite plain sailing to start with, and all of a sudden, Sam, it's all happening. Buddy Lazier there with a fairly amazing incident.
Yeah, under caution. I mean, it's very strange. I mean, people think you're not even racing. It's very here we can see it. The cars in front are under caution. They're slowing down, warming up their tyres, and it can catch you out because one minute you're doing, I don't know, whatever they're doing, 100, 150 miles an hour, and the next minute the car in front is doing 50 miles an hour slower than you are, and it's very easy. If you don't keep enough gap between you and the car in front, very easy to find yourself caught out. Even on warm-up laps for races over here, there's plenty of times when that has happened or is very close to happening quite frequently.
Well, Rob, we see there that clearly Buddy Lazier finding himself, as Sam was saying, you know, perhaps a little bit of lack of concentration.
Yeah, that was all that was. You've really got to be looking at the car in front of the car in front of you in those things. I think Sam again put it very, very well, that you just have to concentrate. I always lift off a little earlier to warn the guy behind. I always say, you know, there's the responsibility to drive 3 cars. You know, the one in front, which is going to slow down more than you think, your own one, and the one behind. You got to warn the guy a little bit, and I tend to come off the accelerator earlier than I need until I'm satisfied that the guy behind has settled into that pace.
But you would think with the number of yellows that they have, Sam, that it would be a fairly straightforward thing to be able to cope with that.
Yeah, again, there's lots of little mind games that might go on. I don't know how careful you have to be when you're on an oval, but certainly when I'm under a caution in a safety car period, you might get right up close behind a guy in front, do a bit of weaving around, maybe just try and intimidate them a bit, and then when you back off, before you back off to drop back, you've got to check the guy behind isn't doing the same thing to you, because that's when these accidents can happen.
So you're actually saying that you've got to have eyes all around you, really?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, Rob, thoughts on these opening few laps then? We've got, looks like we're going back to green. In fact, we got the pictures there, our American colleagues on a break. But Rob, again, we're back racing, but what are your thoughts on how this might develop?
I think that the opening quarter of this race will have very little bearing on the last part of it here. Almost anything could happen here. I think they'll change tyres, almost every excuse to make a pit stop here, because they'll be worried now they've seen those tyres come in and blow or come in blistered that early on. Then every driver out there and every team manager out there is going to be thinking, every time there's a pit stop, precaution, change the tyre. I think it's a lottery now.
Rob and Sam, thanks very much for that. Let's now rejoin our American colleagues at Texas Motor Speedway.
The driving instructor, 10 and 2, 10 and 2, 10 and 2. Well, that's exactly what Kenny Breck is doing with his 31 you see on the dash there, that means lap 31 was when they wanted to come in, the fuel metering. Beechler has now gone from last to first.
The Big Daddy's machine is hooked up. As we mentioned, he did not pit. He takes over the lead right now as we come around to the start-finish line. 35 laps complete. And Donnie Beechler has taken over the race lead. Unser is second. Let's go to Vince Welsh for an update on a tire situation. Vince?
Well, it's a problem right now. Teams with the Goodyears are struggling. Davey Hamilton, Billy Boat, Kenny Breck, Mark Dinsmore, Scott Sharp, they've all experienced problems with blisters on the right rear. I talked to the Kelly Racing team. They said they're going to change tire pressure and hope that that relieves some of the problem, but we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, a big story as this race is still in its early stages.
And that is a big story because all those guys are on Goodyear tires. And you have to believe that it's going to be a Firestone race tonight, considering the problems that all those fast guys are having with their Goodyears.
Now here you're going to get a look, fellas. Donnie Beechler out front did not pit. He's running on worn tires. The fellow running behind him, Robbie Unser, didn't pit either. But then directly behind them, Sharp, Cheever, Carlson, all of those fellas pitted, and all right, they've got brand new tires.
Yeah, but they also have a lot of fuel, and those guys up front don't have that fuel in the car, so they're lighter. They should be a little bit quicker, but it's really the fuel windows between 40 and 48. These guys have to pit pretty soon.
Well, don't forget they did have some caution laps, and you can go from 2.5 miles to the gallon to as much as 5 to 6 to 8 miles to the gallon, so that would move it to about lap 60 or so they could go.
And just a short while ago, Buddy Lazier had some problems. Calvin Fish has an update.
Well, Buddy has been struggling early. He also had blistering problems on the right rear, and then when he was out there on track, he came together with Unser. They came in, changed the nose cone, but they did the complete change. They took the old one off, put the new one on, and he did go a lap down.
Lazier running in 24th position. We look back up front where Donnie Beechler in the middle of traffic trying to hang along, and they touched wheels back there.
The Pennzoil Panther machine for Scott Goodyear. You can see the kickback on the steering wheel when you go over this. We say it's tabletop smooth, but it's a rough ride.
It's pretty bumpy in between 1 and 2, and also there's a bump in 3 and 4 these days.
The man he's challenging on the inside. Now that's the Yahoo machine number 21 of Jeff Ward, and that is a battle for position.
And up front, the leader, there he is, Donnie Beechler. Kenny Breck trying to battle in there as well. Robbie Unser's battling as well, yeah. And Scott Sharp is third. Cheever in fourth. Cheever in fourth right now. Beechler running at 211 miles an hour on this 1.5-mile racetrack. There you see that purple car, the new sponsorship Harris on Billy Boat's machine, a 3-year deal. I know A.J. Foyt's a happy man.
But I'll tell you, the man that's got to be happy right now is Larry Cahill with the Big Daddy's machine with young Donnie Beechler. He's only got 11 career starts, and this is just his second year in the IRL, and he is out front leading the Longhorn 500. That's pretty impressive.
And Billy Boat is just doing everything he can to keep him behind because he wants to stay ahead of the pack in case there's another yellow.
Oh, Tice Carlson and Greg Ray touched wheels earlier.
You want to talk about close quarters racing? Hello!
That was amazing that they actually kept going. And Tice got a little squirty there, but the wheels almost were interlocked, and it was, boy.
I thought you had to have fenders to do that.
Well, you know, racing's rubbing in Texas, at least when they run the NASCAR cars here.
Yeah, but you can't do that with these cars because it will be lethal. Billy Boat, see, is doing everything he can just to hold off Donnie right there. He's going to make his car as wide as possible for the next couple of laps.
Scott Goodyear and Robbie McGee. Goodyear going downstairs in the yellow Pennzoil car. This is the battle for 7th position. McGee, the rookie of the year at the Indy 500. And here we can get a look at just what the draft is like. He got out of the throttle just a second. Not really. It was a case where the revs do drop as we look at the Pennzoil onboard telemetry.
Yeah, it sounded like he did get out of the revs, but let's just have a look here. See, he's out of the throttle a little bit. And that just tells me that he's not really happy. But Scott Goodyear is also on Goodyear tires. We don't know what his situation is.
213 miles an hour. Beautiful evening for racing here in Texas. A crowd of 90,000 plus on hand tonight. Donnie Beechler is your leader. 45 laps completed so far.
Beechler was the Springfield track champion in sprint cars in 1993, and he's quite a character. Diminutive in size, but very loquacious. You engage him in a conversation, and he'll tell you everything you need to know about auto racing and about his life.
What was that $10 word you had there? Loquacious?
I'll tell you later. Let's
Battle for fourth place. Sharp is in fourth. Greg Ray is in fifth.
Scott Sharp is having problems. Scott Sharp was really close to the guys up front there. Right now, Scott Sharp is falling back. That number 8 car, as we see it, is getting in the way of traffic behind. He has a major problem, and I can expect Scott Sharp to come back in the pits here pretty soon.
You'd have to imagine, as we watch the Pennzoil telemetry and looking at the vibration of the camera and listening to the engine, this man has got a problem. And generally, Ari, that kind of a vibration means?
That could be a tire problem right there.
Coming down now.
We're watching him come into the pits. The 8 car Delphi after a frustrating Indy 500. He's back in the pits here.
Brand new engineer Will Moody, who's reunited, and all of a sudden the Delphi automotive team, their hopes and aspirations looked as if they're diminishing quickly.
Let's go down to Vince Welch as Tice Carlson's in the pits. Vince.
Tice Carlson was running so well early on, but they've developed a problem. There was some smoke coming out of the back, and now they've shut the car off. So significant problems now for Tice Carlson as they let the car off the jack, and they're going to have to take off the rear cowling.
Kenny Bragg is back in the pits.
Yeah, both of A.J. Foyt's cars have been back to the pit area. Billy Boat was in. Now we watch what's happening now with Kenny Bragg as their crew goes to work on that 14 machine.
It looks like these guys are going to have a lot more pit stops than everybody else and change tires every 20 laps. And that's so frustrating for a driver because every time you're the leader in the pits.
Calvin Fish is there. Calvin?
Donnie brings it to a stop. The crew, led by Gilbert Lage, will be working on the right front, go to work. This is going to cost them a lot of track position under green flag conditions. It looks like a routine stop. And no
Billy
problem.
Boat.
I believe there's a problem on the track, guys.
Oh, Billy Boat's
smoking, and now we've got a car spinning in the oil coming in on turn 2. Billy Boat blew the engine coming out of turn 4, smoked it all the way around to turn 2. Another car got in the oil, got slippery, and kept it together, but Billy Boat, his day is done.
That was Billy Boat actually spinning on his own oil, almost.
Well, there was another car right behind him, too, that got a little fishtail working, too.
That will get your attention at 200 miles per hour plus. It did for Mark Dismore, but he did battle back, as we alluded to, and won the pole position. Boat won't have that opportunity. Gentlemen, look who is now leading the Longhorn 500. He told us at Indy that he would. Eddie Cheever in the Children's Beverage Group, number 51, is now leading, and he said with Infinity Power, we'll do it in Texas.
52 laps completed here at the Longhorn 500. We'll have more action coming your way here on Fox Sports Net. Stay with us.
Well, it's all happening over at Texas Motor Speedway, isn't it? And Sam Hancock, one of my guests here. Sam, amazing situation there with Billy Boat with that blown engine.
Yeah, you can see it here. He's got oil spilling out the back of his car, and there, probably a bit of oil just stepping onto the rear tyres, and from that point on, he's a passenger, really. Yeah, he would have tried to correct it, but I don't think that was such a driver correction as it was the banking helping him, and, you know, he was lucky, basically.
Well, he did brilliantly, didn't he? Let's now rejoin our colleagues.
Pep Boys Indy Racing League activity here. The Longhorn 500 live from Fort Worth, Texas. And the car on the hook is Billy Boat's machine as the engine cut loose on lap 54. And A.J. Foyt's down there watching things develop here.
Things are not so wonderful now for A.J. Foyt and his team. Let's go back. Obviously, you can see the white smoke. Billy Boat has already blown the engine.
He's gotten out of the throttle considerably because Buddy Lazier saw it, went really high as he could because he's thinking this guy's going to spin out right into my path. They did a half spin there.
And the speed has probably dropped down to under 100 miles an hour, maybe 110 at this point.
But still, at that speed, oil on the back tires is a big problem.
Now, what is the signal for Buddy Lazier that there may be problems? You're riding on board Buddy Lazier's car. It's not raining, folks. That is oil coming out of the Oldsmobile Aurora engine from the car in front of him, the Harris machine of Billy Boat.
That's what Buddy Lazier has on his visor right now, so he's probably pulled one of those tear-offs off of his helmet.
All right, so the car is now on the hook. The cleanup underway for the blown engine, and we're going to give you a little summary where we stand so far. 54 laps completed of 208 tonight. Eddie Cheever has taken over the lead. Ray is second to Jeff Ward third, and Robbie McGee, the rookie, has climbed up to third now. McGee shown in third after 54 laps. Sprint PCS and Sam Schmidt riding in the top 10. Robbie Unser up there as well. Stefan Gregoire did not make the Indy 500, now running in the top 10. MCI World Com car, number 9 is Dismore, the pole sitter. And John Hollinsworth, the PCSave.com Lycos machine, is 11th here this season.
How about Jacques Lazier making his first start, and Ronnie John Cox in the ADT Security Systems car for Tony Stewart and Larry Curry and Andy Card. They qualified in the top 10, and Ari, he's done a terrific job all weekend.
He's done a terrific job, and as we said before the show, that he qualified well, he ran well on his own. But tonight in traffic, it's a whole different deal, and you can see he's being really smart about it. He's not pushing his luck too hard.
One of the things that Tony Stewart counseled John Cox about was the fact to take advantage of the final practice session, get out there, find a couple of people to run in traffic and learn the draft. I talked to John Cox earlier this morning, and he said that's precisely what he did. He said when you have a teacher like Tony Stewart, you don't get surprised at a place like Texas.
It's great for any driver coming in new to have an experienced driver, there in the pit to talk to him. I try to do that a little bit with Sam Schmidt, but obviously I'm quite busy up here with you guys. But Sam really likes to have me there. He says any information I get, any help I can get is a bonus, is a plus.
Well, stay tuned tonight to Fox Sports Net tonight at 10 o'clock when Keith Olbermann and Kevin Frazier bring you all of the day's scores, highlights, and breaking stories next on Fox Sports News Primetime. That's coming up later this evening after we watch the winner of the Longhorn 500. We're under yellow right now, lap 56. The reason for the yellow, a blown engine on Billy Boat's machine. A real frustrating night so far for A.J. Foyt Racing.
But an equally successful night for Eddie Cheever Jr. A lot of people chuckled when Cheever said that he was going to get rid of the very successful Oldsmobile Aurora power plant that put him in victory lane in 1998 at the Indianapolis 500, put him in victory lane at Walt Disney World. But now he's with the Infinity Power, Ari, and it seems to be coming together for him.
It's working great for him, but look at A.J. Foyt. 2 weeks ago in Indianapolis, first, third, and sixth. Tonight, he's not going to get much.
We talk about the highs,
the highs and the lows of racing, and that's just the way it goes. One weekend you're up there, the next weekend you're down. You can never rest on your laurels in racing. There's always something coming around quickly to surprise you and bite you.
Vince Welch, how low is Billy Boat?
Billy Boat discussing the situation here with crew chief Craig Baranowski. And Billy, obviously a disappointing end. First, address the tire situation. You came in early. You and Kenny both had blistered tires. A lot of the Goodyear teams are struggling with that.
Yeah, I mean, we tested here at night, and now we're running really in the daylight. This is a day race. I mean, it's bright as ever getting into turn 3 back there. I think we're just blistering tires. And then I thought I had another blistered tire, but probably what it was the motor picking up a vibration. Because after I pitted, it never picked the RPM back up, and then it broke something getting in the corner. I almost lost it, but it's disappointing for our debut with Harris. But I guess we can only go up from here.
It's Billy Boat, a disappointing finish. The defending champion at this race, he won't win it this year.
And he had a good point about racing in the daytime, racing at night. Last year, we're coming down for a green with Eddie Cheever bringing them down right now.
Did you see that move by Cheever? Cheever got out of the throttle short track style and startled second place Greg Ray into backing off equally, and then Cheever mashed the gas on the Infinity.
Yeah, it worked good for me in the Indy last couple weeks ago, too.
Stretching his lead as they move to the backstretch right now. Eddie Cheever, the leader. Greg Ray second, and Robbie McGee, the rookie, trying to hold on to third.
And there's Sam Schmidt having a great run in the Sprint PCS car. He's on the inside of Stefan Gregoire right there.
Stefan Gregoire, Dick Simon Racing are trying something new here this evening. Nexmill, who's their sponsor, makes all the diapers and all of the heat shields that the teams in the IRL uses. They've had one developed for their shock absorbers and their spring combinations. According to Richie Simon, he says it will maintain a certain type of heat. So we've got a similar performance between all sorts of temperature cycles. He says we think that it'll help us a little bit better with this Gregoire Nexmill car.
Actually, Sam Schmidt lost 2 positions on that restart. But Greg Ray
Battling for the lead. He's looking to the outside of Greg Ray, trying to make the move on Cheever. Two abreast now they run. Cheever says, I'm not going to give it up just yet.
You know,
side by side.
You can run side by side like this for like lap after lap. I believe 2 years ago with Scott Sharp, he and I did that for like 5 laps in a row, and it's just unbelievable excitement.
Ray's got him as they go into turn 1. Greg.
Oh, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He's not going to give it up, and they're going to just run like that for maybe 5 laps.
It's so fun to watch these guys run on the high banks here at Texas. 2 abreast through turn 3 Here they're come through turn 4. Who wants first? Just like 2 years ago.
These guys are really stubborn.
Stewart and Lazier did this 2 years ago, and here we are again tonight.
Yeah, and these two guys came together like this at the 1 mile Dover Speedway, the Concrete Speed Palace. But don't worry about it tonight, because as we said, Greg Ray in the Glidden Menard car says, I like being a gladiator.
See what Greg Ray did? He dropped behind Cheever to pick up the draft again, because side by side there is no draft.
146 laps to go. You would think we were in the final 5 as we finish now the 63rd lap.
Now, let me tell you one thing, though. Greg Ray is qualified on the front row for every race except this one. He finished 21st in last September's race here at Texas. At Walt Disney World, he finished 21st. At Phoenix, he finished 21st. At Indianapolis, he finished 21st. That might be good if you were going to Harrah's in Las Vegas, but not if you're in the Pep Boys Indy Racing League. He told me, he says, hey, didn't qualify in the front row. Maybe that'll turn things around and we can move off the 21 Schneid.
Looks like he's going to get a great run coming off of turn 2 now. He's picking up the draft. He's getting closer, and he's going. Eddie Cheever's been doing a great job of blocking nicely.
Did that rear wing get a little wide on the number 51?
You are allowed to make one move, and one move only, and that's what Cheever has done in a very effective way.
If I was Frank Hansowitz right now in Nissan Infiniti, I would have my heart beating about 3 times the normal pace, because it's pretty good.
He's going to have his beating with like 5 or 6 laps to go.
Oh, okay.
The pace is picking up. Cheever's last lap, 211 miles an hour. Look at this.
He got him.
That, folks,
and there's
is
Robbie
a
McGee.
slingshot.
There's Robbie McGee going to make the move on Cheever.
McGee is running the same engine that they ran at the Indianapolis 500. They have not worked hard on trying to compensate for the drop from 10.3 to 10,005 RPM. Watch the onboard telemetry here, as we'll see what the effect is in the draft for the Pennzoil Panther car of Scott Goodyear. Right up on the rear deck lid of Eddie Cheever.
Robbie McGee got Eddie Cheever. Now he's going to try and chase down Greg Ray.
So the Indy 500 Rookie of the Year has moved into second place. If you look just one car up there, you'll see him. Robbie McGee in second place.
And he has adapted really well. He's done so well. He's surprised a lot of people. He's surprised me. And he's just, I can't say enough about him running in second place here. It's great.
Let's go down to Vince Welsh. He's got an update on Scott Sharp.
Well, Scott Sharp is falling back for a very significant reason. It's the tires problem. They can't run the car hard because the tires are blistering, so they're forced to pull it back. One team member told me, if we keep it up at this pace, we won't have enough tires to finish the race.
And I'll tell you something, Scott Sharp right now is probably
that's the battle for third spot. Battle for second spot. Third place machine is Eddie Cheever in the blue, red, and yellow, number 51. He's on the inside of the Energizer Bunny and Robbie McGee.
Right behind them is Scott Goodyear, and right behind Scott Goodyear is Sam Schmidt. After that slow restart, now joining the group again in front.
Robbie McGee, the rookie, charging. He's not intimidated, not at all. Look at this. Look at Goodyear making a move there. Sam Schmidt now shuffling up there. He's in 5th right now.
Sam Schmidt joined the group on the rev limiter right here.
See that green? That's full throttle. He just taps it for a second down to turn number 1.
He's getting a great run now off turn 2, but yep.
Hello.
Goodyear in 4th. Will he give up 4th? Schmidt's going to go on the inside. Oh, he got it.
Goodbye.
Boy, drafting is so fun to watch here.
You taught him that, right, Ari?
No, Sam has been doing a great job out there, and I really hope he has a good night tonight. So far it's going great. But what I was saying about Scott Sharp, he's running around there now. Basically, he's frightened. He's frightened that something might happen to his tire. Nothing he can do about it then. He'll be a passenger. And he's running around there really apprehensive.
So the Delphi Automotive driver just soldiers on, Dave.
That's exactly right. 72 laps complete. Greg Ray is your leader. Eddie Cheever second. Robbie McGee, the rookie, is third.
Well, the 25 drivers on the Texas Motor Speedway all trying to deal with the passing of other drivers and also trying to deal, of course, with the high banking. And Rob, we were talking earlier on about the extent of this banking with the 24 degrees, and perhaps this gives us a great example.
Yeah, well, look at it. If he got out of the car now, he'd break a leg because of the height of it. It's lucky it kept moving and be beached. It just beached there. It shows how steep it is, and it is almost a little bit too steep, as we keep saying, for these tyres, for the suspension.
What is the actual advantage of having that high banking, if indeed there is any?
Well, it's primarily a NASCAR thing, and that track's built for NASCAR. It sells out. You can see empty stands there now, but NASCAR, they'll sell out 10 times over. And it allows the great big cars to run too wide, and so you can have a side-by-side battle that goes on, and it gives a high average speed, and it's a great spectacle, and that's the advantage of it. For single-seaters, perhaps just a little too much. It's going to have these engines running flat out for a long time, so we could get engine problems as well as tyre and suspension problems.
Okay, we've already seen engine problems for Billy Boat. Let's just see how the rest of them can do over the remaining laps as we rejoin our American colleagues.
Cheever's car slowing on the backstretch. Cheever slowing down on the backstretch. There he is. Problems for Eddie Cheever, who was running in second place his last time around, 2:12. But obviously something has gone wrong here on lap 128 for Eddie Cheever.
And that will move Sam Schmidt into second spot, Goodyear into third. And how about Stefan Gregoire? Gregoire with that narrow track, that shroud around their shock absorbers, seems to be working.
Let's go to Vince Welsh. Vince.
Well, one team member just told me that Eddie Cheever's out of fuel, and that's why he was slowing in the backstretch, so he's coasting his way in. They're going to change his tires. Owen Snyder told me this is one of the Goodyear teams that is not having a tire problem, but obviously they're losing valuable time with this mistake of the fuel, and now Cheever is in. Owen Snyder changing the right front. They're refueling, obviously, and the tires are being changed again as they bring the tires over. No problems. The left front a little bit bald on one side, but it's been a good, clean stop for Cheever, and now the car has to be fired up. So a lengthy mistake for Cheever's crew.
We're not, as up here, we're not sure, of course, if that would be a fuel problem or a tire problem.
Robbie McGee having to get push started back after making what seemed to be a nominal stop. Here comes the leaders, guys, down on the pit road, and McGee is almost in front of his pit.
That's right, and Greg Ray brings his car in. The race leader, problems for Robbie McGee. They're pulling his car back. Calvin Fish, what's up?
Greg Ray brings it in. Robbie McGee's car was not in the way of Greg as he came into the pit stall. You can see the crew going to work. This is one of the teams that are wearing the safety helmets for the crew. And the interest of safety is really not a mandatory issue right now, but the teams are trying to have clear for the first time in Charlotte. Good pit stop by the Menard team.
12.7 for Greg Ray in the Glidden Menard number 2. A nice stop. Remember, he had to take out 35 gallons of fuel. Who's the leader now, Ari?
There's my man Sam Schmidt in the lead, and our team has been working on fuel mileage in Indianapolis especially, and now he's on the way into the pits.
And guys, look who's riding in second place now. Buddy Lazier, who was involved in a spin, is now in second, and now check out what's going on.
That's his brother, Jacques Lazier.
Jacques Lazier, the rookie, and also watching in the pit area. More pit stops.
Here's Sam Schmidt, your leader.
80 mile an hour, the speed limit on pit road. You could hear he actually hit the button to keep it from going over.
And let's look at these guys here, because these guys are really fast, led by Skip Fall in the pits.
There's Skip Fall right there.
He's putting in some wing, because I saw that Sam was backing off, going off the throttle a little bit, going into turn 3 behind other cars, which meant he was pushing a little bit.
A little bit surprising that Fall made the adjustment before changing the tire.
Well, Skip was so quick on the tire that he first wants to do that and then do the tire.
There's your new leader, Jacques Lazier, out front, the rookie. Last time around, 211 miles an hour. Jeff Ward is running there in the Yahoo machine. He is in second. Ward is in second. Robbie Unser is third.
This is the first ride for Jacques Lazier in the Team Truselli Warner Brothers Stores special. It's an all-Colorado team. Now, you remember, Roberto Moreno used to drive that car, but I talked to Joe Truselli about it. Moreno was hired as a driving coach. He gave us everything he had. In fact, stayed on till after Indianapolis. Now we got an all-Colorado team, and we're extremely excited.
I would imagine Jacques Lazier very excited, running out front with 121 laps to go. The Longhorn 500, presented by MCI WorldCom.
Kind of appropriate that the cartoon character that the Warner Brothers people adorned on the car, Pecos Bill. I'm holding out for Elmer Fudd.
And some good laps turned in by the rookie, 2:13.
Yesterday, the warm-up gave an indication of Jacques. You know, he would be competitive tonight, and he is.
Jacques Lazier showed me a lot of maturity when he went into the field for the 83rd running in the Indy 500 and then proceeded to be bumped from the field. He maintained his poise, his positive direction, and said, hey, I was just in the greatest race in the history of anything, at least for a couple of hours. He said, I got a long time to go.
And he has a great calm composure.
A little bit different than his brother.
They both don't seem to get too excited about too many things, but once they're in the car, they are a different animal, like most of us.
Let's go down to Vince Welsh.
Jacques Lazier's car owner, Joe Troselli. You've had the magic touch. First it was Roberto Moreno, and now it's Jacques Lazier. How is the car handling? Are you having any problems with your Goodyear tires?
Oh, the Goodyear tires are great. Are you kidding me? The car's handling fantastic. Right now, Jacques just enjoying himself running around the track. He said this is fun. So.
How about the poise that Lazier has shown?
Come back, I'm sorry?
How about the poise that Jacques has shown?
Oh, awesome, incredible. I mean, he's just so calm and so relaxed. You know, you just wonder, every once in a while I have to ask him if he's still awake. And we're proud of him.
Jacques Lazier having a good run for Joe Troselli.
I'll tell you one guy that woke up real quick. Mark Dismore in the MCI WorldCom car looked over and saw Lazier putting a lap on him. And I bet you that was a surprise.
And there's Greg Ray closing in a little bit on Jacques Lazier, but Greg is a lap behind because of the pit stop situation.
That's right, he's running in 7th position right now, Greg Ray.
Here's where things can get a little confusing, gentlemen, because we cycle through under green flag pit stops. And because of the extended caution period we had, and because of the fact that you can get as much as 2.5 miles per gallon at speed, we've been able to move the window all the way up to maybe lap 100 or so.
You're watching Pagan Racing entry right there. Ward, look at what he's done. He's battled up to second, but Jacques Lazier, the rookie, has the lead right now. We'll be back on Fox Sports Net.
Well, an excellent performance by Jacques Lazier, leading as he does, having started pretty much way back on the rear of the grid. And you'll notice that within those pit stops there were various activities going on, and Sam, we were talking about that as we see Sam Schmidt come in here. We can see that there's a bit of activity going on the front right corner.
Yeah, you'll notice they've got an adjustment there just to change the plane of the wing. If the car's feeling a little bit loose at the rear, then he might drop the front wing a little bit, try and induce some understeer. Let the front lose a bit of grip, but in turn aid the back of the car, make the thing a bit more stable, less nervous, and that should give the driver a little bit more confidence.
How important is it to you as a driver to have that confidence in the car in terms of whether it understeers or oversteers? Do most drivers have a preference for one or the other?
Yeah, you do, certainly on road courses. You know, I, for example, can't stand understeer, but get onto an oval and Rob will tell you understeer is the only thing you're allowed to have. You simply can't get away with any oversteer whatsoever.
Well, Rob, it's, we were marvelling before about the great battle that was going on with Eddie Cheever and Greg Ray, and we saw them having a great side-by-side battle. Do you see a leader emerging and somebody who can actually win this race? We seem to have had so many lead changes already.
No, not really, because I think whatever's happening now isn't going to be the case 3/4 of the way through. The tyre thing is still a mystery. They're still going to be using up every tyre they can find. The engine's getting such a hammering that they could blow up, and you could almost find the guy who started in last place could be winning it. This is the thing about oval racing and races of this length, that almost anyone could win it, who's in the field.
Sam, what's been the thing that surprised you most about this particular race?
God, just the position changes are so difficult to keep up with lap to lap. You know, guys that are coming through from 10th, 15th place, you know, suddenly they're in the lead. Obviously it's all to do with the pit stops, but that's been the thing because of the tyre wear. They've done so many pit stops, and it throws a lottery into the whole thing.
Well, let's see who has got the winning numbers of that lottery as we go back to America.
Welcome back to the Longhorn 500, presented by MCI WorldCom, and we have a problem on the racetrack. Jacques Lazier went into the pits as the race leader, but going out he had a problem.
Right there, exiting the pits, you'll see the cones on the top hand of your screen. That's where the rev limiter will stop working, and he had too much throttle when it stopped working. and then all of a sudden, boom, all the power came in and he lost it on cold tires.
Talking about the rev limiter, you're talking about the button that keeps the car at a certain number of revs to stay under the posted speed limit of 80 miles an hour, correct?
That's right. It will shut itself off as soon as he leaves the pits and he crosses those lines.
And you depress the button.
No. You don't use the button because the button you use just coming into the pit and will work
slow-mo. We're going to show you the cones that Ari is talking about. There they were.
And right there is where the speed limiter would shut off. He had too much throttle going. Got all that power all of a sudden on cold tires, and the car just veered to the left, and he hit that retaining wall that's there for protection of pit crew members.
How disappointed can a young man like Jacques Lazier be after leading his first career Pep Boys Indy Racing League event? This is really the lowest of lows.
Yeah, we see it all the time, guys. Guys, you lead, you're out, and rookie mistake.
All right, we've had 10 lead changes between 8 drivers, and Jeff Ward is now the race leader. Let's go to Vince Welsh.
Well, Joe Trisselli, we were just talking about how much poise Jacques Lazier had shown and what a great run it was, and just like that, he's in the wall.
Hey, you know, I can't say anything, but he did a great job. It looks to me like something mechanical happened to the car there. We're not sure. I'm going to have to assess it, look at the video, and see what happened. But, hey, we're proud of Jacques. He did a great job. We'll just have to come back next time and do it again, it looks like.
Had you communicated with him since the incident?
It looks like that they made him get out of the car, so wasn't able to talk to him.
And the car's not going to be able to put a front wing on it because it went over the wall, is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, we need to be safe.
That's Joe Trisselli. The day is done for Jacques Lazier, unfortunately.
Now, how about this, fellas? We are now completing lap number 99, and the leader of the race is Jeff Ward. But this car, shot with Firestone tires, will receive $10,000 as the highest running Firestone car at the 99th lap. That's to celebrate Firestone's 99th anniversary building tires here in the United States.
Started 12th, currently in second place. Again, the leader is Jeff Ward.
Now, Robbie Unser has a new crew chief or an engineer for the last couple of races named John King, who was at the controls of Kenny Brack's run to the championship. He told me a secret about Robbie Unser. He said, Robbie, because he's a two-footed driver, using his left foot for the brake, has a tendency on high-speed ovals to rest his left foot literally on the brake pedal. And he said, sometimes what they've got to do is try and put a bigger spring so he doesn't engage that brake. It's really frustrated the team in the Petro Mali operation for Pelfrey.
That's not a good thing to do on these kinds of tracks where you don't use the brakes at all, or like Indianapolis where you don't use them.
Looks like Robbie may be coming down on the pit road, but you know one thing, you can't lie about it because the telemetry will show it.
Right,
and then
Robbie,
they'll scold you.
And Robbie was one of those guys that had a different pit stop sequence, and now he's coming in behind Jeff Ward.
Jeff Ward now bringing it into the pit area. Calvin Fish is standing by to call that for us. Calvin.
Well, the leader in the championship brings it in. He's hoping to extend his string of 3 podiums so far this season. Crew is going to be ready for him. New sponsorship on this car for this weekend, Yahoo. And also, Wardy was saying that when he was running in the draft in practice, he was really getting excellent mileage. It's going to be interesting to see at the end of this event who throws the dice, just as Team Menard did at Indy. Vince Walsh.
Johnny Unser, Robbie Unser is in the pits. They changed all 4 tires. They did not make a single adjustment to the car. They love the way his car is handling. He's out of the pits cleanly. The Firestone tires are holding up very well.
All right, thank you, Vince. We're closing in on the halfway mark of the Longhorn 500. 208 laps is what we're headed for here tonight. 100 laps complete. So we'll take a commercial break. Jeff Ward, the race leader. Unser is second. Donnie Beechler running third. And Ray is now fourth.
Well, there's activity over at Texas Motor Speedway. You can see there the number 22 car of Ronnie John Cox, who just at the restart, having had the green flag, has spun the car out, and so that no doubt will bring out another caution. He may well have got himself, in fact there is confirmation of the caution with 104 laps of the 208 complete, so exactly on half distance. And Rob, it would seem that that was an unfortunate incident for Robbie.
Well, more than that, wasn't he the wrong way in the pit lane there? I was thinking, how did he get there? Well, we didn't actually see what happened there. I think this is just indicative of the way this race is going. This could be the race with no finishes.
Well, let's see Eddie Cheever there continuing on his way while they give Ronnie John Cox his confirmation. Here's a replay of the situation. And Sam, what do you see from this? In fact, Eddie Cheever there being marked out along with Ronnie John Cox.
Well, we just wait and see. Oh, he runs high and wide. That's right in your peripheral vision. These cars have got really high cockpit sides, and if there's someone coming down the outside like that, you simply will not be able to see them.
But he actually did run far wider than expected there as well. Cheever came down a little bit, but he for some reason was running much wider. Seemed to be drifting a little bit there.
We've already been talking about the tyre issue, and that's clearly going to be a continuing factor. Well, thanks for that for the moment, chaps. He's back out on the track, and we can go and rejoin our American colleagues back at Texas.
One driver that has not had a problem today has been Scott Goodyear. His team is very happy with the car. Crew Chief Kevin Blanche told me before the race they had a philosophy to go to the front and run hard all night long. He told Scott Goodyear, he said, Scott, you get us 5 positions and we'll get you 3 positions in the pits. That'll take him from the 8th starting position to number 1. Right now he sits 2nd on the grid.
Now there is John Barnes, one of the co-owners of the Pennzoil Panther machine. I remember in qualifying, I asked Kevin Blanche what happened, because obviously Scott Goodyear was disappointed in his qualifying effort. He said, we threw everything we could think of at the car, and the car didn't like it. And by the time Goodyear got back in, I found out he didn't like it either.
Atlanta, he didn't like it at all. But hey, positive thinking is a great thing. And Sam Smith is coming back in the pit. I think this is a strategic move.
Well, take a look at it. 106 laps have been completed. If we're taking a look at some extended cautions, you could literally do this race in one more stop.
Exactly.
Good move.
One more yellow out on the racetrack tonight, then he's got enough fuel to just do one more pit stop.
You were talking about the drafting and how you can really save fuel mileage. You compared it to riding behind, like you're on the highway and you're behind a truck, right, Ari?
That's right. I mean, once I almost ran out of gas on the highway, so I just slotted in behind a truck and went half throttle the whole way. I had the truck suck me down the highway, and I saved a lot of fuel like that, and that's what happens when you're in the drive.
See Greg Ray getting ready to restart. He's going cha-ching, cha-ching, because he just received $10,000 from Delphi Automotive, leading the 104th circuit here in the Longhorn 500.
And look at him crawling through turn 3 here as we prepare for the restart, going awfully slow, and the fans,
then he guns it.
90,000 plus come to their feet for the restart here on lap 107.
Green flag.
Did you see how he got sideways, and immediately Scott Goodyear's got a jump on him?
Here's Goodyear challenging on the outside for first place. Scott Goodyear, who finished 4th last year, he's going to go wheel to wheel with him.
They're just going to kind of ride it out together like that, but there's a guy on the inside.
We're going to go 3 abreast.
Ford, the Yahoo machine, tries to make it 3 abreast.
There's Kenny Bragg coming around him again.
The red car directly in front of this lead tandem is the Buzz Calkins machine. He's got to be holding his breath, Ari, trying to just get out of the way.
Well, he's got to stay on the throttle. He cannot lift out of the throttle with that many cars behind him, because then they will check the closing rate will be too big.
Kenny Bragg sticking his nose into the activity now. Ray's your leader up front there. Goodyear and Beechler. Beechler battling now.
This is for position. Scott Goodyear, Beechler right there, and right behind them is Jeff Ward.
Beechler riding in 3rd position. Goodyear is in 2nd. 109 laps completed.
Ari, I'll tell you what that restart tells me. Greg Ray in the Menard car has a different gear selection, and maybe one of those teams carrying 4 high gears, it causes a problem on a restart.
Donnie Beechler, by the way, has just jumped into 2nd.
Looking out the back of the Pennzoil Panther, and all he sees is the Yahoo machine from Pagan Racing and Jeff Ward. Ward, as we've told you, the current Pep Boys Indy Racing League points leader, but he has yet to score a victory. 7-time motocross champion. He has become quite a terror on 4 wheels.
And he got a great run there on Scott Goodyear. And let's look at Jeff Ward in a minute, because I think he's going to make a move on Scott Goodyear in a minute.
Jeff Ward shows incredible patience in 4 wheels as we watch Wardy working to the high side of the Pennzoil Panther car of Scott Goodyear. I think that comes from running in those motocrosses where you have to maintain a certain level for 20, 30, sometimes even 45 minutes. That's difficult on 2 wheels, and I think it serves him well in a Pep Boys Indy Racing League competition.
There's a car smoking out there. There he goes by us.
When you
and it's Jeff Ward.
Jeff Ward's car smoking as he goes into turn 1. Ward slowing down. He has a flat tire, we're told. Jeff Ward in car 21, who was battling for third position.
Right out on the backside, the right rear, that tire right there. The report is that it has got a leak, that it is going down. So he's got a faulty Goodyear on the right side, and that's going to bring him onto pit road.
And he notices it, but the crew can actually see the tire go down. They have telemetry telling them what the pressures are. And a lot of times the drivers...
Look at this. 3 wide going into the corner. Oof. Aren't you glad you're retired?
No, I mean, this is so much fun. This is a lot of fun here. This track has been a great racetrack to race on.
He's there.
Beechler and Goodyear battling for second place right now.
Clear,
Goodyear holding on. Beechler's thinking about going on the high side.
Let's check in with Calvin Fish with Jeff Ward.
Crew goes to work on Wardy's car. They're looking seriously at the right rear because they remember they did have some fluid leak in there, and they are going to work. Obviously not a tire problem right now. They've got some towels over there, and they're looking at the rear suspension. Mitch Davis believed it was an upright problem. They're now going to put the tire back on and try and get him back out, but losing valuable time right now.
Calvin, you were on top of that when they pulled that last set of tires off, and they saw that grease, so obviously it's an ongoing problem. As we look at the Pennzoil Panther yellow car out the backside, you look at Donnie Beechler. This is classic Pep Boys Indy Racing League competition. Pennzoil Panther, Gary Pettigo, and Scott Goodyear, a very well-heeled team. On the other case, the 98 car of Donnie Beechler, hey, they're a low bucks team. But they are battling for second position in a $1 million race this evening at Texas Motor Speedway. That, to me, is what racing's all about.
That's the beauty about the IRL, about the rules package. You can buy everything else that everybody else buys. And at this track doesn't require development as much. Maybe some wind tunnel work would help to reduce the drag. But you could run a car here competitively without doing a lot of testing. And Jeff Ward is back in the pits, and I know he doesn't want to be back in that car.
The guys from Panther Pennzoil are having a good time as Goodyear rides in second position right now. Vince Welsh has an update.
Kevin Blanche told me you want to qualify on the bottom of the racetrack because it's the shortest distance, but you want to race on the top of the racetrack. You're scrubbing less revs, so you'll see Scott Goodyear spend a lot of time around the top. If he can, he'd just as soon make his moves around the top of the racetrack instead of down under. They're having a little bit of a problem on the restart, but once they get their tires warmed up, the car is nearly perfect. Look for Scott Goodyear to be a player in this one down the stretch.
You see that yellow car directly in front of Scott Goodyear in the Pennzoil Panther pack? That's your leader. It's less than 1/10 of a second separating first and second.
Let's go to Calvin Fish, an update on Jeff Ward.
They're still working on Wardy's car. They believe they've got a suspension breakage. He did have a problem at the non-event at Charlotte with a roll bar coming loose, and they think it may be something similar. They've got the car in the air right now, and they're going to give it a thorough looking over before they send him back out again.
And we're watching the challenge now. Goodyear thinking about making a move for the first position after finishing fourth at Texas in 97 and 98. He's on the move.
It's going to happen. It's not going to take long, and Greg Ray is getting the signal from his spotter that he's down low, and he's giving him room.
At the race last year, Scott Goodyear got aboard his Pennzoil Panther machine, and 3 laps into the race, they knew they had chosen the wrong gear. Kevin Blanche told me they were not going to encounter that problem again tonight. They really worked hard at having a good gear selection. The difference between maybe the top 4 gears are, what, 75 RPM, 50 RPM? That's how close you got to cut it nowadays at 10,000 RPM, the maximum allowable revs.
We used to have the splits between 5th and 6th, 150 revs, but these days it's anywhere from 75 to 100 revs, because the revs, you want to keep that engine as close as 10 all the time.
Back on board with Panther Pennzoil Racing. Goodyear won at Phoenix earlier this year, looking to the inside.
I heard Goodyear, he was up on the limiter one more time. Now, as he comes out of this turn 4 area, let's listen as he goes into 1.
For him to make the pass, he needs to be able to stay flat out going in the turn. He cannot do that. He could make his car a little better. Once he can stay flat out going into the turn behind the guy, then he's going to pass him.
You said turn 3 is the fastest part of the racetrack.
But you see how much he has to lift? Anytime he lifts, he's going to go away from him. Greg Ray will go away from him, and it's really hard to pass him if you have to lift. I remember well, because 2 years ago when I was driving here, I had to go absolutely flat out behind Tony Stewart in the turn to be able to make the pass on the back straight.
All right, we're watching Scott Goodyear being patient now, watching Greg Ray. We have a great battle. It's going to go down to the wire. The Longhorn 500. Stay with us on Fox Sports Net.
Well, great activity and superb action over in the Texas Motor Speedway, and we'll be back to America just as soon as we can. But in the meantime, my guests Sam Hancock and Rob Wilson. And Sam, you were marvelling there at how close these guys are racing. They're really pushing hard.
That's phenomenal. I mean, you think that they're doing 220 miles an hour, and one side of them they've got another car doing the same speed, on the other side they got a brick wall. Especially, as we were saying, with that lack of peripheral vision because of the high cockpit size designed to protect the driver's head. I can only imagine, how they keep track of where the cars around them are.
Rob, you've driven at speeds close to the ones that these guys are running at. How difficult is it to sort of keep your perspective and keep aware of what is going on around you?
Well, you heard a reference there to a spotter, and you do have spotters. And if you look at the grandstands with the people in them, at the top there's a small section of seats, and it's up there the spotters sit. And particularly in the bush cars, because you don't have mirrors on the side, these have mirrors. They're always saying to you, go high, go low, car high, car, because you do lose sight of them. They're in the mirror, they've gone there, are they low, are they high? And then you know whether you can pinch down an apex, a corner, such as much as one does on an oval, or whether you'd better just leave a car's width there the whole time. You rely on spotters, something Europeans don't really have. It took me a while to get used to having someone in the air saying, go high, go low, wait,
Well, Sam, we were also looking at Scott Goodyear's team there, looking really pumped up, and there's a great camaraderie, I know, between a driver and his mechanic. We've seen that with your own mechanic, Ed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the mechanics and the team in general probably work harder than we do. We do the fun part, get all the glamour and limelight, but the guys behind the scenes really do work unbelievably hard. And at the end of the day, they want to see their car win. They want to reap the rewards of all that hard work.
Well, we'll see whether one of these drivers will surely take the rewards. How big those rewards will be, well, we're about to find out. Great scrap going on at the front. Let's now rejoin Jackaroo.
I'm telling you, folks, you need to pull up a chair and watch this race. This is incredible racing. You're watching the Pep Boys Indy Racing League activity, the Longhorn 500, and the battle is up front right now. Greg Ray, that Menard car, is number 2, followed by the Panther Pennzoil machine in second place, and he is tracking him down.
Pull up a chair. The 90,000 that are here at the Texas Motor Speedway haven't sat down. Neither have we up here in the booth. This has been incredible racing between Ray and Goodyear.
To me, it appears that Scott Goodyear really has the faster car because he comes up and runs up on him pretty good, but just can't really make the pass. And he had a pass earlier in traffic, but then Ray got by because Scott Goodyear got held up by traffic as well. So traffic is the key.
Butch Meyer is the engine man for Team Menard, and he told me that they did some work on their engines to compensate for the reduction from 10.3 to 10,000. I said, where did you look for the increase in horsepower? He said, we didn't. But what we tried to do is have a little bit more on the low end, down at about 9,500.
3 laps to go, Scott. 3 laps to go.
Now, 3 laps to go. That's a signal that it looks like Goodyear may be pitting. So now what do you do, Art? Do you try and pass before you pit, or you just stay content right there?
Well, depending on the fuel mileage, sometimes like when they're coming up on traffic like that, it's better to go in the pit 1 lap early because you're losing so much time in traffic.
Don't want to be held up.
If Goodyear comes in now, for instance, and Greg Ray stays out 2 laps, Goodyear might beat him out of the pits because Ray was held up by traffic for a couple of laps.
Look into the inside here. No, won't go. 74 laps to go.
That was not the cleanest coming down on you that Greg Ray did there on Scott Goodyear. He's going to get him now. He's going to get him now because he's got a run on him. But he's got nowhere to go. There's a roadblock.
And that is Steve Knapp. That is Knapp in the Delco Remy car on the outside in the white and black car. Dipping to the inside was Greg Ray. And Goodyear couldn't initiate the pass until he got halfway down the backstretch. He's coming to the pits. That's why.
Okay, boys, let's go get him. Greg Ray's guys are coming in next lap. Let's give him the lead here.
There's the pep talk from Kevin Blanche.
And we're going to watch him go to work as we watch.
Kevin is a great guy to listen to on the radio. Very motivated. Sometimes we think we need to give him some...
Tires and fuel only. Tires and fuel only.
Let's go to Vince Welch. Vince.
You heard Kevin Blanche say it. Tires and fuel only. They'll make no chassis adjustments with this car because it's running nearly perfect. Here comes Goodyear. He's got a perfect stop as Jim Harbaugh, the San Diego Chargers quarterback and one of the owners of this team, works the pit board. Goodyear, they did make a front wing adjustment after all, and now Goodyear is waiting. The car is down, and away he goes. A very strong stop for the Panther Pennzoil team. And remember, Kevin Blanche said, you get us 5 positions on the track, we'll get you 3 positions in the pits to win it.
All right, we're watching on the track now as Greg Ray will also come into the pits now. Greg Ray in the 2 car coming into the pit area.
80-mile-an-hour speed limit. Calvin Fish is standing by. Team Menard, their crew, ready to service Greg Ray.
Calvin, Greg Ray holds it in. I just spoke to Tom Knapp, the crew chief. He said that they're very surprised at the speed of Scott Goodyear in traffic. They feel they have a very fast race car. The Firestones are perfect. They said no blistering problems. Excellent way, good stop.
Identical stops for Greg Ray and for Goodyear. Who's the leader? Big Daddy, Donnie Beechler.
Donnie Beechler takes over the lead of the race. 139 laps completed now. Beechler in first. Robbie Unser is second. Sam Schmidt in third.
Time to cycle through, though. Now Beechler should be coming onto pit road as well. We'll look for him, but still, this has got to be a thrill. He led his first career IRL event back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But Beechler out of Springfield, Illinois, having a great run this evening.
I think Scott Goodyear had a better pit selection than Greg Ray had. And I think therefore, but here we are. Greg Ray's in first. Scott Goodyear is getting a run on him, going on the outside. He's got the lead. And we don't have it on the screen, but Scott Goodyear just passed Greg Ray for position, which essentially will give him the lead.
Eventually give him the lead. That's what I like about you race drivers. You're already proactive, knowing that Beechler has to still come onto pit road. Can't ever keep up with Lyondike. I'm looking forward to when he's fully retired.
That's the information we get on the radio. When I'm out there racing the guy, I know that some guys still have to come in. We don't worry about them. We worry about the guy that has already been in.
Stefan Gregoire, we're going to go on board with him. He's running in 4th position. Stefan Gregoire having a solid day.
That's the Mex Mill car. We told you about the special shrouds that the Richie Simon, Dick Simon operation are running. Gregoire is one guy that Dick Simon always sets a goal for. So far, he has met every goal that Dick Simon has posted for him. You know what the goal is tonight? He said, all right, Stefan, top 5 finish. Where's he running right now? 4th.
Keeping the boss happy. That's what it's all about.
Ahead of him is John Hollingsworth, who is running pretty good tonight. He's in 8th position.
Take a look at how he's progressed through the field. 13th, 6th, then in the pit exchanges back to 12th, but he is solidly in that 4th position. And for the first time in 28 years, we didn't have a Dick Simon car in the 83rd running in the Indy 500. It's great to have Gregoire, Simon, Dick, and Richie back here in the hunt and doing so well.
And here in the state of Texas, you're watching PC Save car there on the right. That's a Texan. Hollingsworth running in 8th position, just passed there by Gregoire.
Did you see how steady Gregoire was? He didn't panic as he pulled up on Hollingsworth. He just backed out of the throttle, cracked it for a minute, tapped the brake, didn't get the car upset at all, and then initiated and completed the pass.
Mex Mill car with a strong showing tonight. Another guy who's having a strong run, running in 5th position, is Eliseo Salazar. Salazar battling.
Still watching and waiting for the leader. You know, Ari Lyondike has told you folks that it looks like Goodyear and Ray will eventually cycle to the front. But hey, listen, right now, Buddy Lazier is looking ahead and seeing Donnie Beechler.
Greg Ray, Scott Goodyear, this is the fight, really the essential fight for the lead.
Right ahead of them, 6th and 7th, but right now they're going to eventually cycle through, right?
Right in front of them is Schmidt, who's in 3rd place, but he had that different pit stop strategy. He stretched his fuel a little bit longer.
Behind the 2.
He's out of sequence with these 2 guys.
Donnie Beechler is actually the race leader right now, but he will eventually have to come in for a pit stop for more fuel. Lap 146 of a scheduled 208.
Oh, Greg Ray. Sam Schmidt almost moved up into Greg Ray, who just had passed Scott Goodyear.
I'm going to root for Donnie Beechler and tell you, what happens if the yellow comes out right now? All of a sudden, all that cycling through would change, and Donnie Beechler would be solidly in that front position.
There's the Pennzoil machine looking, and here comes Donnie Beechler. He will make a pit stop. The Big Daddy's machine will come in, so we'll watch this rookie go to work and let his crew go to work in the pit area.
All right, Lyondike, again, you're right.
Let's go to Calvin Fish.
Gilbert Les weighs him into his pit stall. They are going to do tires only, try and maintain some kind of track position. He would have to go 61 laps on this final stint. That is not possible. A lot of the guys felt they could get to the mid-50s in the draft, sort of backpedaling a little bit on the throttle, but this is too far to go. He will need a yellow to try and make it without another stop, guys.
Well, he's going to get a yellow right now. John Hollinsworth Jr.'s machine. Lots of smoke coming out of there.
Let's not be premature because Hollinsworth was well down out of the racing group below the apron. No yellow flag.
They will keep the green. The green stays on.
Very professional to keep that track green because he stayed out of the groove. He just stayed on the bottom of the track.
And the Petro Mali car, that silver and red car, directly behind that triangle, making a pass to the outside of Mark Dismore. That's your new leader, young Robbie Unser, a second-generation driver, and has moved into the lead here. Don't forget, Unser finished second here in Texas before, so he likes this track.
I know he likes these kind of tracks. Robbie's told me over and over again he loves the 1.5 mile.
Sam Schmidt in second, and Stefan Gregoire has pumped his way all the way up to third. Salazar running in fourth.
Robbie Unser is one of the cars that their engineer and their crew chief decided we're going to try and take as much downforce out as possible. You hear us all the time talking about the under tray, the underwing. It's an upside down wing. The faster you go, the harder it's planted down to the ground. Well, at a track like this where you have the banking, you dial as much out of it as possible. And they said, we just take as much as we can out of the car before Robbie complains. And the car's running awfully free right now.
56 laps to go. Salazar into the pit area. He was running in fourth. One of his better showings this year.
Salazar received quite an honor at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, selected as the Scott Brayton Award winner, the soft-spoken, mild-mannered Chilean who had all of those injuries and said he only battled back because of the thousands of cards that he got from his friends.
Well, look who's battling once again. Goodyear and Greg Ray. They have been battling all afternoon. Goodyear now battling his way. And up front, though, Sam Schmidt has taken over the lead. Sam Schmidt has taken over the lead.
He has, but in my opinion, this is the battle for the lead right here. These two guys just passed Sam Schmidt, who is on the lead lap, but he's out of sequence with his pit stops. This is the race for the lead right here, what we're looking at.
Let's go to Vince Welch. Vince.
Robbie Unser in the pits. They make a slight wing adjustment in the front. It's one of the very few adjustments they've had to make. Otherwise, it's just tire and fuels for Robbie Unser. A very clean stop for the Petro Mali racing team.
Looking out of the back of the Pennzoil car, Scott Goodyear. Scott Goodyear.
We've got a crash on the track. It's Unser.
No, he did not have a crash. The wheel was not put on correct. He just came out of the pit. The wheel wasn't attached properly, and it flew off the race car.
Good call by Arie Luyendyk, two-time Indy 500 winner on the call right there. That is a shame. He had a solid run going.
If this is going to damage his car, he probably cannot continue because it might wear down the bolts keeping the suspension together.
Ari, as you know, these tires and these wheels are attached in a different way. Let's check in with Vince Welch.
I'm with John King. John, what happened?
I guess we let him go too soon. We had a wheel left loose.
The car was running so well. You were up in the front and it was charging. Is this just trying to get him out too quickly?
I think that he cut that interview short because he has to go to work right here.
Here comes the machine back to the pit area minus the tire. That's a tough job driving that thing with three.
As I was going to say, unlike a passenger car, these wheels have one center lug. It locks on the tire. That's why the crew has to shift the tire around a little bit. Then there's one giant lug nut that goes on. If you don't fully attach it, you can vibrate real loose and the tire will just go wheeling away.
I hope they checked the suspension for him. I could not see that on the screen, but I also see that the Sprint PCS crew is getting ready for Sam Schmidt, and this is going to be his last pit stop.
And he might be able to do it under yellow here. With we're closing in on the final laps. 156 completed of a scheduled 208, and Sam Schmidt is your race leader. We'll be back with more here on Fox Sports Net.
Yeah, it happens with a lot of people. We've seen it happen with the Williams Formula One team. It can happen. Very lucky it was the light side of the car. It was the left-hand side with most of the weight on the right-hand side. And lucky it's got the steep banking now all of a sudden, so it didn't damage it too much.
Well, let's go back to America.
We're in Fort Worth, Texas for the Longhorn 500. 158 laps completed. Sam Schmidt made a pit stop and then had some problems with Mr. Unser.
Let's go back and take a look at it. Now watch Robbie Unser. Now stop it right here for a second. See this guy right here? Watch the job that he does, but meanwhile pay your attention to the left rear tire changer. Left rear tire changer, can't get the lug off. This guy has finished his job. Now watch where he throws the lug wrench.
This guy had not seen it. He was busy changing that.
There's the lug wrench. He grabs it because his didn't work. He's trying to make the exchange to still get the tire off, and the crew chief, John King, did not see that action on the backside. Now, yesterday, he's circling and shaking his hand. John King's saying, look, we've got to get done because he's not finished. Robbie Unser does not pay attention. He's saying, go on out. Now, one of the things that happened, and your Skip Fall told all of the crews,
let's look at this,
very
guys.
frenetic.
Right
there goes the tire off, the wheel off. Yesterday, the IRL, the Pep Boys Indy Racing League officials, got Skip Fall and Owen Snyder to take all of the crews and talk about the frenetic nature and what they did. Let's take a look at this pit stop and I'll finish my story.
This is Sam Schmidt coming in for his pit stop. He is the race leader under yellow. Here he is in his Skip Fall and company going to work. Sam Schmidt in and out, and he is still the race leader, Ari. Like you said, this is probably a great move here, fuel mileage-wise.
I think that strategy was really good to bring him in under that yellow, the previous one, to extend his pit stop, and this is going to be his last stop for the night.
Let's quickly finish the story about the over-the-wall gang meeting that was held. It was mandatory for everybody in the Indy Racing League. Owen Snyder and Skip Fall led the meeting. Brian Barnhart asked them to lead the meeting, and they talked precisely about that situation. Said one of the keys is the crew chief or the man on the right front should always have at least his hands and do the hand signals. That they suggested as a backup, have somebody on the other side, the safe side of the wall, with a radio key to let everybody know exactly what is happening. Obviously, Team Pelfrey and Petromali for Robbie Unser had a problem. Calvin?
An update on Sam Schmidt. They're very happy with the car's balance. He actually did 2 stints on the set of tires he was on. They put the set back on that he started the race with and put those on for the 3rd stint. So he's good on tires, and they feel he's getting excellent fuel mileage. There's 48 laps left. They think he can go the rest of the way.
All right, Sam Schmidt. But the problem, he's buried deep in the pack, about 13 cars in front of him right here when we get ready for the restart. There's going to be a lot of traffic out there.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Keep counting.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's still more way up there. He is going to have to come from deep in the pack.
And the yellow lights on the pace car are still on, indicating that there's still yellow laps out there on the racetrack. When the yellow lights go off, then the drivers know we're going to get a restart. Sam is kind of in the middle of the pack. A couple of cars behind him is Scott Goodyear and Greg Ray. And those guys know that they were able to pass him just a little bit earlier.
What about Stefan Gregoire? Gregoire being posted in the 2nd position. They're going to have to dispatch with Gregoire first. He's directly behind Schmidt in the blue and silver, number 7 with the red front panels.
That's right. We have a shootout here.
Now, you see what John Cox in the blue and white car was doing? He was waving the guys by. Race summary time.
Yeah, let's take a look at the race summary now. 161 laps completed in the summary. And this was early on. Billy Boat blows an engine, gets sideways, and did a pretty decent job saving it. And then Jacques Lazier, when he was leading the race, makes contact with the wall. He didn't save it. We're touching wheels out there. Cheever and John Cox, the rookie, out there. And then this is just some great open wheel racing tonight here in Texas.
For the lead, right.
12-second pit stop for Goodyear, chasing his 2nd win this year. And then Greg Ray doing the same thing.
12-second pit stop for Team Menard in the Glidden entry.
And yes, sir, Ray, we're all pumped up for the finish. 161 laps complete, and the green comes back out at Texas.
Let's keep an eye on our leader, Sam Schmidt, on the inside of Kenny Bragg. Gets past Kenny Bragg.
On board now.
A lot of traffic up ahead. Great run going down the back straight.
Trying to go by Tice Carlson.
Shall we dance?
Through turn 3.
A little twitchy there for
It's just a little bump there, and got a little bit kickback in the steering wheel. Not a problem at all. But this guy on the right is giving him a lot of room.
That's Robbie Unser.
You call that a lot of room?
But now he's got a... There you go. It's quite busy out there, and you cannot just keep your foot in it. You gotta analyze the situation very quickly.
Everybody gets excited when they see him go 3 or 4 wide at Daytona or Talladega with fenders. I really get excited when I see him do it with no fenders.
Scott Goodyear is on a roll, getting really close to Sam Schmidt now.
Yeah, let's watch him now. This is Sam Schmidt and Goodyear closing in on him.
Goodyear in the yellow car to the outside of Sam Schmidt. There's the battle you want to watch right there. Working some heavy race traffic.
And he's going to get him for first place.
Scott Goodyear got held up pretty good, though. It's quite possible that Sam is going to come back on the inside, and there he is.
Side by side, here they are, your race leaders. The yellow car, that's Goodyear trying to move to the front of the Pennzoil machine as they move into 2, and he's got him.
It's not over yet. There's Greg Ray.
Greg Ray becoming a player once again.
Greg Ray had the door slammed on him halfway down the backstretch, but he kept the momentum up and accomplished the pass by Sam Schmidt. Trying the high side now in the silver and red Robbie Unser Petro Molly machine. Greg Ray not as effective in traffic as Scott Goodyear has been.
Scott Goodyear looks to me as he's the strongest guy out there right now. But things can change. Tires can go away. The car might be different on a load of fuel. And we still have 44 plus 8 laps to go.
Robbie Unser doesn't seem any of the worse for wear. He's still running very well, but one go.
Whoa, cutting the grass down there.
Nice Carlson.
Nice Carlson using the grass and keeps it together.
I think that was an action to avoid something rather than trying to pass in the grass.
Let's go down to Vince Welsh. He's with Jacques Lazier.
Well, we saw a replay of Jacques' incident in the pits a little while ago. Jacques, explain what happened.
You know, first of all, I feel real bad.
Well, as you can probably tell, we've lost our pictures from America. We'll get those back to you just as soon as we possibly can. But, of course, what we've seen here, Sam Hancock, is a fantastic race going on at the front with a guy that you picked out earlier on, Sam Schmidt.
Yeah, only because we share the same fantastic name. No, I mean, I'm really getting into this race, you know, because that's the fantastic thing. It's so unpredictable. Who's going to be at the front when? The guys coming from the back of the field are leading 1 minute, and it's just fantastic racing.
Well, we've got about 50 laps remaining of the Longhorn 500. Let's now go back to America, where I'm delighted to say we can rejoin Jack Arute, Harry Lyndike, and Dave Calabria.
But glad that didn't happen.
Yellow car on the inside is your leader, Scott Goodyear. Buddy Lazier on the high side of the purple car. Is this NASCAR? No, it's the Pep Boys Indy Racing League.
9 different leaders tonight. 9 different leaders.
Scott is showing a lot of muscle here. He's quite aggressive, and he has to be aggressive with that much traffic in front of him.
Good job. Hey, fellas, look at the line. Look at the speeds. 210 for your leader, but how about Sam Schmidt? Last time by, with the help of the draft, 3 miles an hour faster than your leader. Your third place machine, Herr Schmidt, is on the move.
That's right, but Sam Schmidt has actually dropped back compared to the leaders a little bit.
Race traffic accounts for that.
And here's Sam right here going into turn 4.
Running at 213 miles an hour.
I thought the sun might have been a problem coming out of turn 4 for the drivers tonight, but it doesn't seem to be that bright and into their eyes.
This crowd has been treated to an incredible race this evening. Would have to be counted as maybe the second biggest crowd that the Pep Boys Indy Racing League has played in front of. The other one, how about 400,000 just 11 days ago?
And I tell you, they've been on their feet all night long. We hope you'll stay with us for this dramatic finish. Goodyear has a lead, but Greg Ray is challenging. We'll be back.
So 172 of the 208 laps completed, and it really is hotting up out there in Texas. And Rob, one of the things we're starting to notice is that, because obviously it's nighttime out in America at the moment, it's starting to get just to that sort of twilight time. The floodlights are on there. What is the thing that the driver's going to notice most about transition from daylight into twilight? Does it throw up some strange occurrences?
They're not at all. It's not like going into a night race. This is Daytona this year as well. Very, very bright lights, and they had different sort of lights on. We can have them this bright, a little darker, which would you like? Here, they've obviously got the bright lights out there, and I would have thought the drivers had seen no difference at all. In fact, we were racing through the night there at Daytona, and it was just like daylight, which in a way is a bit of a pity. But of course, you don't have headlights on these cars, so it needs to be bright. They won't notice anything. They'll notice the engines have a bit more horsepower, because they always go better when it's cool. It'll be better for the tyres as well. But I think you're so locked into it that it gets to midnight and you haven't even noticed.
Well, we're getting towards the final few laps now, Sam. Is there anybody out there who's catching your eye? You've already mentioned your namesake, but we've got certainly a very strong battle up there with the likes of Greg Ray and Scott Goodyear and Sam Schmidt and Donnie Beachley, who started right way on the back on the previous row. Who would be your tip at the moment?
Yeah, well, I was amazed by Beachley, really. I mean, to come from the back row and be able to lead the race, obviously pit stop strategy plays a big role, but as I say, it seems to just flip upside down the order from 1 minute to the next, and keeping up with it is quite hard work.
Rob, anybody's catching your eye in terms of potential winners in these remaining few laps?
Well, Alicio Salazar appears to be buried nicely there in 7th or 8th place, and hasn't really featured at all. See, it could just be anyone, and Sam's point is right. That can be called fantastic. On the other hand, it can devalue things as well. I think Max Mosley's making this point at the moment about Formula One, and it's a difficult one. Is it that anyone could win it? It's exciting up to a point. Now I'll go for Salazar. We remember him from Formula 3 donkeys years ago, so I'll pick him.
Well, fascinating stuff. Thanks very much for that, Rob, and for Sam. Let's just in a moment we'll be back to join our colleagues. In fact, we've got an incident there on that's Tice Carlson certainly involved in that, the number 20 car. He's spun out to the inside, and it's something we see quite often in the closing stages, Rob, with cautions, with everybody trying to fight for those places in the remaining laps.
Yeah, and it probably won't be the last one as well. Yeah, the race goes on, they'll be getting a little tired out there, there'll be pressure from crew chiefs and so on.
Well, it's our next caution. It's lap 180. Let's hope Tice is all right. Let's go over and find out exactly what the story is.
From the finish, Tice Carlson in the wall, and what a run he's had here this week, qualifying third, as you mentioned, and it is a shame to see his race come to an end this way.
Crashed in turn 2 and ended up in the middle of the back straightaway.
So the yellow comes out now, and again, let's give you the top 5. Scott Goodyear is first, Greg Ray second, Sam Schmidt is third, Stefan Gregoire is fourth, and Donnie Beachler now in fifth.
Now, not to rush to a restart, but remember when we saw the restart before, and it was the opposite way with Goodyear in second, and there's Carlson being led to the mandatory checkup at the infield hospital. And things have changed now, and we're going to have to see who has the best. Now, let's take a look. Here's the pace car coming out, and right in front of him is where the Carlson crash is. He collects a race car.
I don't know who's driving the pace car tonight.
So Tice Carlson and the pace car make contact. We'll watch it again here. The pace car making contact with Tice Carlson's car on lap 180. Here it is. That's Carlson hitting the wall, spinning and hitting the wall.
Let's go back and look at it in slow motion. Once you've gotten sideways that way, but you notice that the suspension and energy wheel management system, SWEMS as we call it, very, very effective. Everything stayed connected.
Yeah, on this replay we couldn't see really why he started to spin around. There's another look at it right here on your right hand. There he goes. He's on his own. He's really on his own. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary, and spins around.
My dad used to like to make a description of saying when you're running, it's a little bit, and it's Donnie Beachler, the report, that got collected with the pace car. And if you look to the front end area, that's absolutely been twisted and turned just a bit.
Boy, I've never seen that before, where you actually get knocked out of running such a competitive race.
He was running in 5th position. Let's go to Calvin Fish.
I'm here with Greg Beck, who's the engineer and crew chief for Tice Carlson. Greg, you had a problem with an input shaft earlier. Any connection between that and the incident on track with Tice?
No, I don't think so. I really don't know what happened yet. We haven't been able to talk to Tice. He got out of the car. He's okay. That's the important thing.
Got to be a tough break for this team. Speaking to Tice, he said you really needed a podium finish to make it to the next race. You're a little low on budget. How is this going to affect things?
Well, I'm not 100% sure at this point. We have to get back and see where we're going. Things are heading in the right direction for the team. We started third today. We had a really good car. There were points in the race, so we were the fastest car on the racetrack, even after we went in for a while earlier and repaired the car. So we're happy with our performance. We just need to find a sponsor, and so we get to the next race.
Okay, we hope to see you there. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right, there you have the update. Goodyear is your race leader. Ray is running in second. 181 laps completed of 208. The Longhorn 500 continues after this on Fox Sports Net.
Well, amazing things happening. We've seen some very bizarre things in motorsport over the years, but never have we seen anything like this. The pace car down on the apron, and Rob Wilson, Donny Beechler just rolling across.
Yeah, but it's not really Donny's problem. I mean, the pace car driver is the only one who can see both cars. And there's no pace car in front of these cars to slow them down. There'll be a total shock to the driver in the racing car. That pace car driver is not going to live that down in a big hurry.
Well, the good news was the airbags both worked, as you can see from this. So the manufacturer will be very pleased with that, I'm sure. But as you say, there won't be a lot of discussion about that, I'm sure. Sam, I know you have a safety car in Palmer Audi. Ever seen anything like that? There we are, both the airbags gone off.
No, last time I saw anything like that was actually Monaco a few years ago. I think one of the Tyrrell drivers maybe crashed into the pace car, I think in qualifying or something. But that is quite unusual, quite funny as well. Not for the drivers.
Let's find out what they're saying.
Unfortunately, John, you're not out there in the mix of it. What happened?
We had a gearbox go out. Unfortunately, it's really reminiscent of Indianapolis, where we got locked in fourth on lap 60. Fortunately, at Indianapolis, we were able to bring the PCSave.com Lycos car home to the finish. I think we ended up banging the limiter a little too much. I was in a real low gear fourth, and just couldn't do it today, so that's kind of disappointing, but we'll be back next race.
How about the racing out there on the track tonight?
It's great racing. We're in pretty good position. We'd saved the car. We was really pretty much on my strategy. We reached a 100 lap mark, and I was ready to go racing. We'd moved into the top 10, and I was ready to get with the program. You know, it's a long race, but we didn't get a chance to do it tonight.
That's John Hollinsworth. Look forward to seeing you in Colorado. Let's go to Calvin Fish.
Quick update on Scott Goodyear. Very happy with the balance of the race car. The tires are good. He's good on fuel. They told him to go +1 on the fuel mixture, which riches it up, gives him a little bit more horsepower on the restart, then back it off for the rest of the race.
Guys, this is going to be one heck of a start here and one heck of a race with Scott Goodyear leading. Greg Ray's right behind him, and right behind them in the lineup is Sam Schmidt.
And don't forget, Scott Goodyear is second in points for the 99 championship, but right now, if he should win this race, they could put him ahead.
All right, 184 laps completed. Goodyear, Ray, and Schmidt will battle it out. We'll have more for you next.
Well, Scott Goodyear at the moment, very much in the driving seat, leading as he does the Longhorn 500 from Texas Motor Speedway in America. Live and exclusive here on Sky Sports, and with me here in London, Rob Wilson and Sam Hancock. Sam, it seems like we're in for a sprint race finish now.
It looks like it. This is probably the toughest time of the race. You know, the guys will be pretty tired by now, and especially mentally tired, maintaining that focus, especially for the race leader. You know, when you're in the lead of a race and you know you're close to the end and the race is almost in the bag, you start to be very cautious. You can back off a bit, but the minute you back off, especially on an oval, you know, you can find yourself in trouble because you just lose that little bit of concentration. And that's as we're seeing, that's when the accidents start to happen. You're going to find people in the wall. We just have done. Maybe we'll see it again in a minute, but this is the craziest race I've seen.
Well, as you mentioned it, Sam, there is Tice Carlson, Rob, slamming into the wall. Any thoughts on what might have caused that?
Well, he did have a flat right rear tyre, certainly immediately after the impact, but that could have been caused. If you look at the right rear, it's flat, and it's possible that may have happened.
The car just seemed to snap sideways. You can see they're running along the fairly flat straight.
They had a axle problem as well during qualifying.
Sam, your thoughts?
I don't know. My only thought is that he's lucky to go in backwards because the rear of the car will have taken a lot of the impact.
That right rear is flat, and it didn't look like it was the tyre that hit the wall either.
Well, it's a shame for Tice Carlson because historically the second row of the grid has been a good place to start a race from, but not to be for him, although of course at the moment we're seeing Scott Goodyear out there up front. Do you think, Rob, that he will hang on and win this race?
Well, yeah, very, very fast and mature driver.
Well, we'll look to see whether indeed Scott Goodyear can take the victory. There's still a fair number of laps to go. A little bit of cleaning up to being done as well. Let's now go back to America.
The cleanup continues with 22 laps remaining. The Longhorn 500 and Goodyear and Ray have it going on up front right now, Jack.
Scott Goodyear has had a very strong run. There you can see the Speedy Dry and the cleanup crew continuing to work around the racetrack. There's the Pennzoil Panther machine currently posted in the front position. And directly behind Scott Goodyear, as we pan back, we'll take a look at number 2 in your program, number 2 in the running order, the Glidden Menard machine for Greg Ray. Ray looking for a victory. Your favorite driver, the Sprint PCS car, Ari?
I got a pull for Sam Schmidt in the number 99 Sprint PCS car, looking from behind the wheel from his car in third place.
Schmidt being shown in third place, directly behind Sam Schmidt. How about Eliseo Salazar? Now he is posted in the 5th position in the FUBU machine. A great run for Salazar. You see the red and the blue driving gloves there and there. He says that he uses that to remind himself of the Chilean national flag.
He's a lap behind though.
Yeah, so Salazar being shown in the running order behind Sam Schmidt, but being posted in that 5th position.
Petromali machine, Robbie Unser had problems with a pit stop. The wheel came loose and he was in contention now. He's shown in 6th position. And Davey Hamilton's had a good strong run. And along with this guy, Stefan Gregoire in the Mexmel car.
Now Gregoire is on the lead lap and he is in the 4th spot in the Mexmel machine, and you're riding on board with him. And you see the 32.0 there on the dashboard, Ari?
That's not the amount of laps they can run. That's what they see on their dash.
Fuel meter.
Once they see 32 on their dash, that's what they have used. Time to come in, boys.
Being shown in there. Now there's the Davey Hamilton Spinal Conquest car. Now this team with Rick Gallis, they won the Coors Light pit stop contest at Indianapolis, earns $37,000. You know what they did with it? They donated it, the crew did, to spinal research. That's incredible. Now Hamilton being shown in 7th spot. Directly behind him in the Delco Remy machine for ISM Racing, Steve Knapp. We like to call him Ari Leyendijk's biggest fan.
I think so, Steve
Back
Knapp.
at 14th spot. Directly behind Knapp, coming into play, the Tybo Kickboxing Certainty Building Product Special for Johnny Unser in car number 92.
It's been a quiet night for Johnny Unser, but he's still out there. He's running on Stickers tires. We can see this, the white marks on the tires.
And Certainty, one of the new sponsors in the Indy Racing League. We appreciate their support.
There's the Yahoo machine, number 21 for Jeff Ward. Ward being posted after leading early on, but had the problems with the rear of his car directly behind Ward.
Costly night for Ward.
Yeah, it could cost him the points lead. That's number 14. That's the Power Team car. And that is the defending Indianapolis 500 champion. That is Kenny Brack.
A lot of perseverance showed by Kenny Bragg tonight after his tire problems, and also by this man, Buddy Lazier.
Lazier, after running very well, started in the back, is now being posted in the 22nd. Oh no, not the 22nd position. That would be his brother, Jacques Lazier. Buddy is in 17th spot. There's Scott Sharp after starting on the top, on the front row. He's had problems in the Delphi machine. Directly behind him, Buzz Calkins not having a great run in the Bradley Food Mart Special, but he is still running in the 8th position.
All right, let's go to Vince Welsh. Vince?
If there's been one dominant race car tonight, it's been Scott Goodyear's. This is team manager John Barnes. Did this yellow save you in the fuel? Everybody's playing the fuel game. What's it do for you?
Hang on.
I'll tell you what, it's making a fat guy like me sweat here for a while, but we're looking good now.
You mean you wouldn't be sweating otherwise?
Well, I don't know about that, but Scott's did a great job, and Andy and Kevin got the car right on, so we'll see what's going on here. Greg's a hell of a race driver, and I'm sure he's going to do a good job trying to get by us. That's what he's paid to do.
What's the key here in the last 20 laps, John?
Lead.
Stay in front. John Barnes in the 4 car, the Pennzoil Panther of Scott Goodyear.
Remember last year when Greg Ray made an incredible run on Billy Boat? Greg Ray was not the guy actually, up front all night long, but in the end when it counted, he was right there, and he's going to be right there again tonight.
20 laps to go, Dave.
That's right. Fox Sports Net has all the Indy Racing League action for you. Join us Sunday, June 27th at 2 o'clock for the Radisson 200 live from Pikes Peak Speedway. Don't miss it here on Fox Sports Net. 20 laps to go in this race, though. Goodyear is your leader. The Longhorn 500 going for his second win of the year, but maybe Greg Ray will finally break on through to the other side and get his first victory in the Indy Racing League, and Sam Schmidt challenging as well.
On the previous restart, when Greg Ray was bringing the field down, they were coming down very slow.
That's
Greg
right.
Ray got sideways. Scott Goodyear ate him up. Let's see if Scott Goodyear ups the pace a little bit on this next restart.
Goodyear going back and forth on the steering wheel, trying to clean off the tires of any small debris that might be there. Now there's the pace car directly in front. He begins to accelerate. Goodyear does likewise.
Little cat and mouse game on the backstretch here. We're going to go green.
Goodyear is cleaning his rear tires, kind of doing a little burnout to get the heat in those tires and clean them off. Now he's going to drop back a little bit, let the pace car get away. And he's looking in his mirror. There he goes.
And here we go, the restart, folks. The Longhorn 500. Let's watch him battle out of turn 3, and a big start for Mr. Goodyear.
That advantage can evaporate in less than a lap. Once you get up to full song, both cars could be reunited in a battle for the lead. We are winding down the laps here in the Longhorn 500 presented by MCI WorldCom.
Sam Schmidt.
You and I said it both. Sam Schmidt has had a good restart, right up behind Greg Ray there, and this is the lead that Scott Goodyear enjoying right now.
This might be a break for Schmidt because of the situation. He doesn't have to worry about that race traffic. Tough break for Eddie Cheever. The Children's Beverage Group.
No yellow as he gets the car out of the way, and we continue to race. Stretching out the lead up front.
As I said, Schmidt doesn't look as effective as the front two cars in traffic, but they've broken away. It's a 3-car breakaway, clear sailing. This could be an advantage for Sam Schmidt, at least be able to close on Greg Ray, who runs in second in the Menards car.
It's about these 3 guys right now, but things can change though. Gregoire is not far behind, and he's also the last driver on the lead lap.
Don't forget, Gregoire was given a challenge by Dick Simon, finish in the top 5. He stayed in the 4th position right now.
192 laps now in the books. We're going 208, so the final stages of this race.
Remember at lap 200 last year? You know who the leader was? Greg Ray. But the race went 208 laps, and a lot of his friends that were here in the stands thought he had won the race. Could Greg Ray be holding back until after lap 200 to try and make his move and stab his way to the front? Hey, we're going to find out in just a few more laps.
I don't think there's no holding back on any of these guys' part right now. Sam Schmidt looks to be closing in just a tad on Greg, and Goodyear just inched away a little bit from Greg, but not much.
3rd place, riding on board with a 3rd place car. Sam Schmidt, the 99 Sprint PCS machine.
Do you see the dash right there? Now look at this line right there. Ari, what is that? Tell the folks.
The black part that we see right here is the actual revs. Of course, that's the maximum revs right there.
Call that a pie dash, and it has what, 4 or 5 pages?
It has 4 or 5 different pages, but you just put it on race page and it gives you enough information for what you need. And the guys in the pits, they will look at the oil pressure, the oil temperature. You don't need to look at that. They'll look at that for you.
I'll bet you right now Scott Goodyear's not looking at anything, Dave Calabro, except the starter to see when he's going to see that white flag.
That's right, 12 laps to go. Look, that's the rear view mirror for the Panther Pennzoil machine. Look at the lead he has right now. About 1.2 seconds the lead for Scott Goodyear. Can he hang on?
He actually pulled away 0.2 of a second over like a couple of laps ago. He has just a slight edge.
Ever since Scott Goodyear scored...
You're pulling away a little bit.
Yeah, we
That's Kevin Blanche telling him you're pulling away. Ever since he won the MCI WorldCom 200 in Phoenix, there is a different Scott Goodyear at the controls of the Pennzoil Panther machine.
Indigo at the line.
I would agree with that. He is a different driver these days. 11 laps right now.
Quick report from pit road tells us that the problem with Eddie Cheever's machine, a faulty battery. Tough break for Eddie Cheever.
Sam Schmidt on the hunt now for second. Sam Schmidt moving up on Greg Ray.
And here we're with Sam Schmidt again, and we're going to have a look. He's getting just a little bit closer. He's on the rev limiter, and that is going to hurt him a little bit, but it looks like Sam is just a bit quicker than Greg Ray, and he might be able to get a run here. great stuff. This is so much fun when you're in the car too.
9 laps to go now. 9 laps.
That's it. And now he needs to tuck behind. Now he needs to tuck behind. Oh, and he had to lift off there. Did you hear that? And immediately has lost just a few leg car lengths on Greg Ray.
You heard it. He lifted, and there is the end result. About 5 car lengths. That's a heavy penalty to pay with just 9 laps to go in this race.
It's going to take him a couple of laps to get back there, so he really needs to be decisive there. We'll find out.
Scott Goodyear's lead now, 1.3 seconds. Let's go to Calvin Fish for an update on Greg Ray.
Well, he's a little short of pace here this evening, guys. He's flat out, and he can't match the speed of Scott Goodyear. He's got a little bit of an understeer in the car. Ideally, he'd like to be a little more neutral right now, but at the moment, he's got his hands full and his mirror's behind him.
Do you remember in qualifying night, if you were with us as we telecast qualifying, one man that was not a happy camper was one Scott Goodyear. Kevin Blanche said they threw everything they knew at the race car. John Barnes said, I'll take the blame for what we did. But they made the changes, and they have paid off so far for the Pennzoil Panther team. You can see the separation. It's about a short shoot in a tri-oval, the lead that the Pennzoil team has with Goodyear on board.
Yeah, I'm talking about
You got 5 to go at the line.
We're
5 to go at the line.
a little bit off the pace, which is about a half a tenth of a second a lap. That's just a little bit off.
There you hear the call on the radios. 5 laps now left for Scott Goodyear, closing in on his second win this season in the Indy Racing League. Sam Schmidt making a run now.
The key here for Sam is get by the guy on the right. Who's that?
That's Kenny Brack.
And he's got 5 laps to challenge.
Looks like he's going to get a run on Greg Ray. This is out of Kenny Brack's car.
The race leader, Scott Goodyear. Let's check the lead, how big a lead he has right now. The lead just about 1.5 seconds.
And again, he pulled away 0.2 of a second. And everybody's concentrating on this duel right here between Greg Ray and Sam Schmidt.
Scott Goodyear, 39 years of age. Second in the Pep Boys Indy Racing League points going into this race. Folks, he is going to take over the $1 million chase. At the top of the point standing will be Scott Goodyear.
3 laps to go now. He finished 4th here in 1997 and 98. 4th in points and battling now. Sam Schmidt now. Can he make a move? Ari, what do you think?
I think that coming out of turn 2, Sam is not able to stay in the throttle when he's really close to Greg Ray, and that's going to break him up probably. But it looks like he's going to get a run on him here. But now he has to go in that clean air. Stay outside, keep your foot in it, and get the run on him here.
There's Scott Goodyear.
Scotty, you're coming to your white flag right here.
That's the greatest sound to hear as a driver, isn't it, when you're out front?
The better sound is the ticker flag.
They're pumping their fist. Is it premature? He has 1 more lap to go.
Sam Schmidt has 1 more chance right here. He's got to keep his foot in it. He's looking good.
He crossed the bow there as Scott Goodyear. A little bit of race traffic directly in front of him, but the Pennzoil Panther car.
Slow. Take your time. You got plenty of time behind you. Here comes their checkered.
There you go.
Here he comes. The checkered flag comes out for Scott Goodyear wins the Longhorn 500 presented by MCI WorldCom.
And Sam Schmidt is not able to pull the trigger and make the pass on Greg Ray. It's Goodyear, Ray, and Schmidt.
Great racing, though. What a great race tonight.
That was a lot of fun.
Well done.
And there's the call. Jim Harbaugh celebrates, one of the co-owners of that Panther Pennzoil team, as Goodyear wins the Longhorn 500, his second win of the season. It's a lot of fun. We'll have more for you on Fox Sports Net Live. Stay with us.
Well, a fascinating climax to the Longhorn 500 with our live action from Texas this evening, and my guests Rob Wilson and Sam Hancock both enjoying that. Sam, victory for Scott Goodyear puts him top of the points table.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were just saying how difficult it is when you're in the lead of the race but so close to the end to maintain your concentration. Well, I mean, Scott did a fantastic job. He was even pulling away over those last few laps. He had a comfortable victory there. I'm impressed.
Rob, did you get the impression that Sam and his team seemed to enjoy that victory?
Oh yeah. Well, they always will. I'm disappointed. It wasn't Salazar who won it, but he got a good result.
Yeah, that was a good call by you. You fancied Salazar as one of the outsiders, I think.
Yeah, that's right, and he remained an outsider, so I was sort of halfway.
Well, I think we've enjoyed a tremendous race there. Is there anybody, Sam, that surprised you? I mean, you were talking about Sam Schmidt as being one of the drivers. He's not had a race win, but there's great delight and scenes going on in Victory Lane at the moment. They seem to be enjoying this.
Absolutely, there's nothing like that winning feeling, is there, really? Going back to Sam Schmidt, he'll be really disappointed that he didn't get that second place. I mean, okay, he's on the podium, but boy, he was fighting hard over those last few laps, and he seemed to have one or two opportunities. Who knows whether the car just lacked that little bit of extra grip in the last few laps, tyres going off perhaps, but he did push hard, but he didn't quite make it. That's a frustrating feeling, but Scott Goodyear's won and all his team are going mad, so let's just enjoy the moment.
Well, they are thoroughly enjoying it out there, aren't they? And rightly so. It's been a very hard-fought battle by Scott Goodyear, and he takes that victory, his second, incidentally, of the year. He was a winner also at Phoenix. And Rob Wilson, that must really help him in terms of 2 victories in those few races.
Yeah, he's a worthy series leader.
Well, as you can see, they're in the winner's circle. The cars are all there, and we can now cross over to hear from the race winner.
What a celebration here in the Pep Boys winner's circle as Scott Goodyear has just captured the Longhorn 500 presented by MCI WorldCom. It's his second victory of the season. And Scott, congratulations. You believed you had a dominant car from the beginning, and you went out and showed it tonight.
Well, we had a great car on the weekend. The guys in the Panther team just did a great job, and we lost ourselves a little bit in qualifying, but we knew we had a good car, and we just had to change it as the pit stops went on. So Andy Brown and all the guys in the team, great pit stops by Kevin Blanche and the guys, and I'll tell you what, we got a good team here. We're chasing the championship. We didn't get Indy last week, so that really is disappointing, so we're after the championship.
Kevin Blanche said that he wanted you to get 5 spots made up on the track, and the team would get 3 spots made up in the pits, and they did it. They did a great job in the pits, and you were doing some dicing yourself with Greg Ray tonight.
You know, I think this was a great show for the fans, a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing, especially down the back section. They're 4 abreast sometimes, and I was through the grass on the front section here and down on the line over here, and I'll tell you what, you know, it's just racing's getting so strong right now. We were flat out on that restart every lap after that, just flat out. And the motor went just strong as you could believe. I was just believing that the Aurora wasn't going to have a problem. And we were on the rev limiter, so I was pretty pleased with that.
Now, I know you just bought a Harley Davidson and you've been going out on rides, so they changed the name on the car from Scott Goodyear to Lone Wolf. You were the Lone Wolf out there tonight.
That was my depression after Indy, actually. I just happened to be seeing one, looked at it, I thought I'm going to go do that. So I'm now in a Harley Davidson Fat Boy, but a great race for us, obviously, here in Texas. And Pennzoil's down in Houston, and Nortel Networks is right here in Dallas. So very special evening, and we got a lot of people here this weekend, so we're chasing the championship.
Scott Goodyear takes another step toward the championship with a win tonight at the Longhorn 500 in Texas.
Remember, guys, that at the beginning of the race, all of the Goodyear shod teams were having problems. Scott Goodyear didn't, and look who's brought Goodyear back into victory lane. One Scott Goodyear.
They did a great job managing their tires, and obviously, you know, the other guys did not manage their tires.
Let's check in with Calvin Fish.
We're going to get here with Greg Ray, second place. What a run tonight. Tremendous battle with Scott and Sam right behind you.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, these mile-and-a-half tracks here at Texas Motor Speedway and, you know, Atlanta and all the other mile-and-a-half tracks, they're a lot of fun. And I tell you what, we had a great car tonight. We struggled a little bit in the first part of the weekend, but, you know, I'm so proud of this Glidden Team Menard group. We just had a really good race, and things were going our way. We needed, like last year, we needed more traffic. We had the best car in traffic, and unfortunately, I think we lost a cylinder head about lap 150. So for the last 60 laps, we were down unpowered. And Sam Schmidt was showing me his nose there the last 8 laps, but me and Sam are good friends. In fact, he's coming over to my house tomorrow, but he wasn't getting around me tonight.
Tell us about the disappointment of Indy, Greg. Were you able to put that behind you, or did that really play on your mind these last couple of weeks?
Well, I think it's like they say, you know, once you fall off a horse, you got to get back on the horse. And those 2 weeks were really agonizing. I mean, we clearly had the car to beat all month long. We should have been on pole and should have won, but shoulda, wouldas just don't count, you know. So I'm happy to come here. This is our best finish for the year. We tied our best finish like we had here last year. Still haven't got the first victory, but it's coming.
Great job tonight. And he finally breaks that string of 3 21st place finishes, guys.
Yeah, he drops the 1, he gets the 2, so that means he's just got to put the 1 back together when we get to Colorado.
That's exactly right. Some great racing here in Texas. The Longhorn 500. We'll show you the 5 right here, the final 5, the top 5, and the complete field rundown coming up next.